Cool. Everything is looking cool on my side. Waiting for it
That
to
mirror
show.
looks weird. That should look crazy.
Oh yeah, the mirror all up in the video. Hey, welcome.
What up, y'all?
We are live once again. Salutations, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Prspctvs podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Littty, bro, Flacko. To my side is Holden Stefan Roy. Say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
And today we have a guest, a reoccurring guest now, we could call him, right? Today's guest is the Don of the Prom, the Bay Area Big Enchilada, the LA hip-hop scene's Miglo, este tipo, pinche mijo, el Cheeto with that fresh coast sofrito, lush uno. You know what I mean?
That was ill right there, baby. You gotta come from the trenches to be able to come up with something like that.
You already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I left out so much, right? Like, we gonna get into it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I left out like what like I think that you're a correct me if I'm wrong. You're also a record label executive now. Co-owner of GTX, right? Amongst many other titles, you know what I'm saying? Which we're gonna get into today, you know.
Precious Child of God.
Precious Child of God.
I like that one.
You know what I'm saying? You know, usually we have like a opening, but like we look back on the interview that we had with you, and that was the first time that we did that opening. Which was like doing our origin story, which was like super shoddy. That was literally the first time that we tried it. But like now we like perfected the intro, but at the same time, there's no point in us doing our origin story because like you were here already and you know our origin story. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you like this: a precious child of God. That's like if there's a young tenderoni that you want to have coitus with, make relations with, but she happens to be like under the care of another, you feel me, at the current juncture, you'd be like, damn, I want to fuck that bitch. And then you'd be like, then your homie be like, nah, don't talk about her like that. That's a precious child of God.
Precious mother child of God. My fault. I was about to curse while I was talking about God.
Yeah, ain't that some shit? But God forgives.
Wow.
He's a forgiving God. That's what I understand.
God forgives. I might not, but God definitely do. No, I'm forgiving. Resentments are toxic. You can't hold on to resentment. You know, I don't like to give advice. I find it very pretentious, but I'll say that in my experience, for me, holding on to resentments are very, very toxic. So I choose not to engage in that type of activity. Flacko, I see you all the time. Holden, man, it's good to reconnect, bud.
Facts. I see you've been super busy, like low key.
Super busy, eh?
I'd be like a guy that like when I see somebody on No Jumper, it's like okay. When I see somebody got a show on No Jumper, I'm
show
like,
on No Jumper. Look, I left that out. You totally put that in the title.
I did. I'm like, shit, man. Like that's a flex.
Nah, that's a
flex
super huge
bro.
look.
Like
super huge look.
I've been like peeping
and he's
Adam
bringing
22
the culture
shit for years.
He's like, you're impressed about like I know like Holden, like I know where his respect level for Adam 22 and No Jumper is. Like he feels like he's wild official. Lush, I think we've spoken about this online before, and like we're like, I'm way more suspect of Adam 22, but the fact that Adam brought the culture into motherfucking No Jumper makes me be like, all right, yo, I might fuck with you. I'll fuck with you more now. Like where like there was a lot of apprehension on my behalf before. Like there's a way more like, all right, I'm gonna fall back. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Give him a little bit more of a chance and shit. And yeah, I think that is super big though, super
Yeah,
popping.
no,
Like,
he definitely went out on a limb and took a chance on something that's really outside of his typical demographic and genre to kind of add a dose of culture to what they got over there and substance outside of the fracas of the porn star rivalries and all kinds of the content that I enjoy. I definitely enjoy.
yeah, nah, I'm not mad.
I enjoy No Jumpers content. Going back to like, that's how a lot of people first heard of like XXX Tentacion. Like a lot of artists got
Yeah,
their first major break being interviewed by Adam, who wound up he's got his finger on the pulse. So you gotta like,
he
I
definitely got his
definitely
finger on the
respect him for
pulse.
that. And now having done a lot of podcasting and a lot of interviews, but now taking it to such a, for lack of a better word, high profile / high pressure environment, it
Mm-hmm.
makes me have
Mm-hmm.
a newfound respect for just how he's incredible at interviewing and podcasting. Like
Yes.
he doesn't, people don't realize
He's a
how good,
professional.
they, whether or not you have an aversion to his, what people have heard about him, or an aversion to like his sensibilities, or like his personality, all that aside, just his skills his skill set as an interviewer and a podcaster and practitioner of curator of viral media. He's incredible at all that. I've learned a lot from working with him.
Word.
That's fire.
I would imagine that you would. Because I mean, and you know what's crazy? I had just because of being in tune to you being over there, I started paying attention more. And did the sharp dude come on like around the same
He
time?
was before us. Sharp was before us, and
A little
it's
bit
crazy
before though,
because like
right?
I
Or
know a
was
lot
it a
of.
long time?
Yeah, it was. He had been interviewed a while before, and it was kind of slowly integrating him before us. Like then he wound up
Copy.
getting a show, maybe like a month before us, something like that.
There
This
we
year's
go.
gone by in such a blur. It's hard for me to fully like a month seems like a year. So it's like
Yeah.
Right.
that seems like a long ass time to me right now, a month, because so much happens in the 24-hour period. But like he, and I've like had encounters with Sharp just on like some outside of the industry, like street type shit. So
Mm-hmm.
Sharp's a cool dude. But what I really like about Adam too, he he empowers a lot of black voices, like he's like I'm the only white person that, and I'm not like a regular white person, but still like the only like,
Not at all. I called you Miglo. You know what
right, you
time it
feel me? But
is.
I'm like the only like non-black or brown person that he's put on before, and it's dope to
Word.
see, and not just on a talent on camera level, but behind the scenes, and like people like Gina who and Laura who curate the shows and do the news and all that. Like, so he's really I respect that too. Especially he's provided a lot of an outlet for people from the streets of LA, from all different sides of the flag, which is ill too, and
Word.
he's created some dope platforms. So I respect that about him as well. As far as being busy, like, yeah, my apologies, Spencer, for the tardiness, because like
Nah.
literally I thought I knew what being busy was. I thought I knew what
Mm-hmm.
being busy was until now. Like I literally spend 16 hours a day on the phone. Like, and like I don't have
Yeah.
time to do anything. That's one of the reasons why, like, shit. I know I said before I'd rather be chunky than a junkie, but I don't want to have second thoughts on that. So I'm my second day of intermittent fasting. You feel me? We gonna
Mm.
drop about 30 of them things. I'm on camera too much. I'm way too in the public eye to be. Once I saw memes of Big Pun popping up, I was like, all right, we got to dial back.
Yo, you know what though? I totally understand. I can empathize. I'm on my own. I think me and Holden are both on our own fitness journeys right now. You know what I'm
Big
saying?
facts. I am
Yeah.
discovering how not in shape I am. As much as I would like to think I've improved, I'm discovering the limitations.
Dude, if I was in Montreal with that motherfucking Portuguese chicken and all them beignets and shit, I'd be fatter than, come on. But like, yeah. But like literally
And
once I got clean, it's like I have 3 vices left: work, sex, and food. And none of
mhm.
them are really conducive to fitness. But now, like the way my brain works, I'm gonna like sculpt myself, and I don't do things half-assed. Like I don't do it to you, Dunny, because don't let me do it to you, Dunny, because I overdoes it. Like I'm overdosing it. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
I'm
sexy on
I'm
this.
I'm not surprised. I feel you. Personally speaking, I'm going through my own situation where like my work has taken me out of uh the work environment, and I'm working from home, and so I don't get the same exercise that I used to get going out
Mm.
and doing my job. And so now I'm just like, I gotta exercise at home, yo. Like this is getting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting bad back and shit. Like what? Nah, it's too
Yeah,
much
that ain't it,
sitting,
Chief.
you know? And
Nah,
that's not
it's,
it. Like I'm super out here still, you know what I'm saying, young and doing things. So it's just like our bad back is like, what? Nah, we gonna fix that right now. We gonna start working out every day, crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That core
Like,
strength, you feel me? That core
no
strength to
yeah,
fix that
facts. Yo, I
motherfucker up.
started doing these planks and
yeah.
shit. Yo, I went to New York City for the first time to meet Flacko in November. I discovered I was not where I wanted to be with walking. Walking was not where it was good. You know, it was that bad. So I'm like, okay, I'm never going to travel again and suffer on the fact that my legs hurt trying to keep up with a guy like Flacco who is
See,
also taller.
and I don't know if that's a city thing or what, but I got crazy calf muscles. Like that's one thing I'm not.
Crazy
I
calf
did not.
muscles.
It's not even about skipping leg day. It's hosting events for 14 hours straight, 13 hours
Yep.
straight, and
I
like
Yeah.
lived in the
being on hella ecstasy for years. So like I like fuck it. Why do I have to piss? I could just stand here and you know what I mean. I'm like a camel on ecstasy, and that made it so like yeah,
understandable.
I cut steel with these Johns.
Yeah.
It was like that, and then Quebec had lockdowns and curfews and weird shit where we stayed home for like a year and a half, and then it opened in March, and it's been wonderful since because everybody's out and about, and I'd argue the city is hornier than it's ever been. It is a
That's
Yo,
impossible.
vibe
That's
to
like I feel objectified every time I walk through Montreal. That's the horniest
nah.
city in the
So you
world.
got to
There's not an
understand,
easier
no, no, no.
city to get licky than Montreal.
But lush one. Imagine everybody got locked up for 2 years,
Oh
like
my god.
and now we're
I get.
out.
yeah.
I would get violated. It'd be like you
You
feel
get
me.
big time. Yo, a
I
girl
get
stuck her
violated.
finger in my belly button the other night. It was very bizarre.
No, they bout it, silk the shocker out there, and it's crazy. Speaking of like pandemics, lockdowns, like I don't think there's a person that was less affected than the lockdown by the lockdown than me. Like I was in rehab when that bitch started. You feel me? Like I got out, I was in a halfway house for 2 months. And then after that, like I wound up flying around. I've been on close to 50 planes since 2020. Probably
Wild.
more, like 60 planes since 2020. Like I'm outside. I'm in like I'm in large groups of people. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
if I'm in environments like for sure, like I could smell the COVID. I could see it. I could see the little germs floating through the
Yeah. Yeah.
sky. You feel me? Like
These are facts. I saw you at multiple events
yeah,
during the rest of the world being on lockdown,
yeah.
and like I was
Mm.
I was Hulk Hogan during COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like
What I'm
I
saying.
was I was out here, you know what I'm saying, ripping shirts open and just being reckless. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh,
Like
I was
my thing was like everybody went indoors. I was like, oh, I feel more enabled to go outdoor. Like this is all my playground now. Like everybody go inside. I'm coming outside. This is all mine now.
I bailed through Magic City during COVID. I stopped all the way through East Detroit, like literally down 7 Mile, like walked 2 miles down 7 Mile. Like bruh, I was I was in East Flatbush. I was in Watts. I was in Beverly Hills. I was in Midtown Manhattan. Bruh, you feel me? I was in
You was
North
in
Philly.
Jersey. was in
all
Dirty
through Jersey
Jersey.
City. I stumbled upon the whole entire Indian neighborhood in Jersey. Like, bruh, like that shit is, come on, bro. It's outside. And I think I might could have, because I've never taken a COVID test in my life, to be honest. Not like I've literally never taken a COVID test. Not that I like have anything against it. It's not like a political stance.
You
I
just
have
didn't
not.
even you
It's
did
just how your
not.
life worked out.
I've not
Your
taken
life worked out where you didn't have to.
right. I've not had to take a COVID test. I've lied and said I've taken a COVID test before, but like I don't know. But I for sure I'm 90%, 99% sure that I had that shit. But I took like I kicked that shit's ass. Like, and the people around me, like my fiance was whooped by that shit. I was straight. I'm like making out with her straight. Like my the homie got that shit. I'm staying at the homie's crib in LA. He got that shit. I'm like, hey, I'm about to go to the store. You want some juice? What you need? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, the COVID's all bad.
Nah, that's
Pre-COVID.
wild. I'm like wildly jealous.
was definitely-
We lived in a place with a literal curfew for 6 months.
Canada's like a concentration camp now. It
No,
sucks.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the
gotta be
coolest
like-
fucking country. They destroyed
It's
that shit.
not-
Y'all have
it's not that
y'all are
cool.
slaves. Y'all are
Bro, they
fucking
just passed
slaves
that
up
like
there.
French law shit that's gonna make it even weirder in Quebec too. Like it's gonna be a weird few years up in here, and there's no alternatives. It's just all wonky.
Bro, it's so janky. Like, because I love Canada and being up there, but like,
they do be wilding and a little extra strict for no reason with things that is just like, why are you being strict with that for? You're not strict
Yeah,
with
we
other
still-
things.
they got y'all fucked in the game, bro. Like,
It's real bad.
disrespect. All
It's
that,
not
all that,
nice.
all the Melissa Ford, Pamela Lee looking bitches locked down, bro. That's scandalous. They got them in cages. Come
Nah,
on,
everybody's
bro.
out now.
Melissa
Like,
Ford.
thank goodness that the
Isn't
world
she in
opened
Cali?
up.
She's from Canada, though. Of course, they go and move
She's
to
from
Cali.
Canada, though.
Yeah, Melissa Ford is
Yeah,
I
there's
did
Canadian.
not know that.
a lot of people end up down there
crazy.
because like, yo, what industry is there up here? At the end of the day, there's some, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you can make
Oh,
it
you
in
know
LA,
what? You know what industry is up there. You
Yes,
know what
I do.
industry is up there.
I live in Montreal. Yo, MindGeek's office is like right next to my workplace's office. Like they're around the corner from me.
The hookers.
What? No, the head office that owns all the porn. Like
Oh,
they're around
okay,
the corner.
Yeah,
They're like the conglomerate people that do all the website shit. I don't think they film there, but there's some reason you can't film on Montreal Island. You have to leave the island, and it has to be in some place near Quebec. So like it's all the places around Montreal where it gets produced, or else it's some like OnlyFans tier shit. But you can't be making like
yeah.
real porn.
Who cares about porn? You could like literally just get it. Like it's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
Just be
there.
like,
Yeah,
snatch
you
it
just
out.
go out. Just go to
Yep.
wherever the people be. There's always something.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. Like what I learned about prostitutes, and it's a cliche for a reason. You don't pay them to come. You pay them to leave. That's the convenience factor.
Mm,
Mhm.
that makes sense. Still,
Add a crease to your brain, all of y'all out there that don't get it.
Mhm.
That's another level. Like that, it ain't even about tricking. It's like, is you tricking or is you treating? How the way you Rice Krispie.
yo, I don't even like consider it. I guess it's not as like legal and accessible everywhere, but it's like pretty fucking everywhere. Like the massage parlors are just literally
Just
littered
there.
around.
Bro,
Like, in your fucking
Toronto.
face.
It'd be like
McDonald's.
McDonald's
Man's
in
in
the
them is going
second
to the
floor.
spa to see the
is a-
sports. Man's them. Come on, bro. They're about that action. I know so many women from Toronto. I would say close to 70% of them, because most of the women I know happen to be beautiful from Toronto. And it's probably got some of the most beautiful women in the world because it's so multicultural and exotic. 70% of them have sold the pussy. Like it's part of it's normalized.
Like a part of the culture.
It's normalized.
Yo, wildly. The second OnlyFans came out, no, girls be like rappers now. with the OnlyFans. Like it's really frequent. Like especially the younger you go, like you almost just aren't surprised anymore to see the links. It's just like, oh, I know
Yeah,
who you
now
is. So you got the
there's a
links.
lot of memes.
Man,
I just
shouts to the
finished
sex workers. Get your money, girl.
big
Get
facts.
your weight up.
Get your
Come
One
on.
money.
Shot has
Big
like this
facts.
whole thing where like all the ladies care about what they look like when they leave the house every time, every day of the year. Like like a competition is happening amongst them that most of us dudes aren't aware of. But like women be dressing proper every day of the week, no matter what. It's like rare to see
As
people
they
that don't
should.
dress well in Montreal.
As they should, damn it.
As do I.
Word. Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I was just talking about this weekend where I was like, somebody was like, "Yo, the drip is fly." I was like, "Yo, took me like an hour and a half to put this together." Believe me, like you
That's
know
what
what
I'm
I'm saying.
saying.
Like I'm not just walking out here like no slouch. You know what I'm saying? Like I took calculated like time and thought and care into this whole everything. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is placed perfectly, luxuriously. It's supposed to be. So I expect the
Dude,
ladies to do the same thing.
God is so good. God is so good. Look what happened to me since y'all seen me last. Like, this is God
Word,
right here.
facts,
Like,
facts,
this is
facts,
God right here. You feel
facts,
me? Like,
facts,
I
facts.
do see that. Yeah.
Damn,
this
I
is
didn't.
God right here.
I
This is
should have. I
God.
fucked up. Usually, I have the drip on too. Like I don't know what I'm
This
doing right
is
now.
I don't know
God
that I
right
got
here.
drip like
Word.
that.
I could have gone crazier too, but it wouldn't look right. Like, people don't understand. Like, you got to evolve. You got to let it evolve naturally. If you just
Mm-hmm.
go from like few little things to like, blah, then you're gonna look fucking
Mm-hmm.
stupid, and
You
that's
look
when you get
crazy.
fucking. That's when you get
Yup.
robbed. You know what I mean? You have
Right.
to evolve naturally. Then one day you just
Evolve
show up like
naturally. Right. Right. Yeah. Like
Julius
Julius
Caesar meets
goddamn
Slick Rick
Caesar
one day.
out this motherfucker. Exactly. Yup. With
I
this
love the
shit drip.
strategy. It
Mm-hmm.
makes
Nah,
total
he's right
sense.
though. And that's the way that it really does work though. Like for anybody who is ever successful, I'm pretty sure can testify about the fact that it's like, yeah, it was a gradual graduation. I got my first large sum of money and I invested on my first pieces, you know? And then I got more money and I invested in more pieces, you know? And
And,
I get
and,
some more money, and then next thing you know, and then you
and it's
start getting
important
given
to
pieces.
it's important for me to do that too, because if I don't, I will literally spend every last dollar I have, unless my fiance stops me, on creative projects. Like everything I
Word.
do, like that's why I work so hard. And people, like, it's not even that. Like, I love money. I love being able to have I'm an artist and I want my vision
Yes.
to be fulfilled. So whatever I get, I'm dumping into it. And in order to do that, it's weaponizing and putting in position so many other people. Like, you know what I mean? It's literally creating a miniature economy where thousands of people are eating off of my creative ventures and my creative pursuits. And I like, so it's like, and they need to be taken care of to the point where they can focus on it and make it their primary purpose as well. And it's like, and then there's like the whole aspect of it of like, you know, some might call it manipulation. I call it being a good leader. And the reason why I'm a good leader is because if y'all are working with me, I'm gonna make every single person I'm working with, not think, but know, intrinsically feel that what we're doing cannot happen without you. And you are the center of it. You are the epicenter of this operation. And without
Word.
you, and like when I instill that belief in people, that's how this GTX thing blew up so quick. That's why, like, you know what I mean? This wasn't supposed to happen like that. God wanted it to happen though.
Facts. I could empathize with that leadership style because that's what I do myself in my personal life, where it's like it's about empowering the people that come behind me because I always tell my guys, I'm like, yo, you gotta replace me. If you don't replace me, then how the fuck am I gonna move up? If I don't move up, how am I not gonna, if I'm not moving up, I'm not gonna be able to like throw a line for somebody else to come up behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I'm staying stagnant in the same place, doing the same thing, then like now I'm a hamster in a fucking wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like this got to be a journey. It's got to be a path. Like it's got to lead other places, and then you eventually graduate into something else and something different. but like, you know, it's about empowering the people that are around you so that they know that they have the same ability that you do to just do as they see fit and as they see right, because you put them in those positions because you respect where their mentality is and how they think. So if I respect, you know, that's something that I started doing with Littty Bros Volume 1, is just like everybody who I'm like taking on and like working with, I'm not gonna micromanage you like this. And it's rough as an artist to not micromanage people, right? Because like you have a vision and you're just like, yo, it all has to go in this certain way. But it's like sometimes you got to trust the people that are around you. Not sometimes, really, in my opinion, it should be all the time, right? Like, or that's what I've learned and grown to, you know, is like understanding like, yo, everybody's going to do what's best if I hire the right people and they have the right motivation and they're being paid right. They're going to have the inspiration to do the best job that they possibly can do. And I need to not micromanage that and let them do that best job and trust that at the end, product's going to be solid. And it hasn't let me down yet. You know what I'm saying? People always step up when you give them an opportunity to step up, you know?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, because that's exactly how it has to be. You know, that's like people, it's like the collective efforts and the collective vision of more of everybody working together and like all hitting that same note and pushing that same line and like sharing dreams. It's like we become one entity. You know what I mean? Like it's so much deeper, and that's to me like you don't have to believe in the traditional Judeo-Christian sense of what God is, but that right there is proof of the existence of God. However you define it, that connection,
did
that
Lush
energetic, you know.
Did Lush one just correlate creating a business economy and being a leader to God in a successful way? Bro, that's like a book right there waiting to be had. That is
God
a
is
great
everything.
fucking metaphor.
Hey, here's a reality that everybody in the world can agree on, right? God is everything or God is nothing. There's no in between.
Facts.
So, you know, and I'm not saying I know the answer. To me, God is everything. But if you're not sure, then God is nothing. You know what I mean? There's no moderate opinion about that. Like, if you think, oh, God might be everything, essentially you're saying God is everything. You just don't realize it. So, you know, like, and there's no right or wrong, but that's something that everybody, I don't care where you from, what you on, you know, like atheist, agnostic, all of the above. God is everything or God is nothing.
Yeah, I like
we can
that.
all agree to that.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense. I'm sure somebody will disagree, but I would disagree with their disagreeing because, yeah, that makes sense. That, like, in the middle shit, like, I watched a video recently that was talking about how centrist politics is really just conservative politics in disguise. And effectively, it's the same idea. Like, you can't really be in the middle on shit. You kind of have to pick a side.
Well, even if you disagree, if you really break it down, and like if someone's like, well, that's not true, and we had a conversation, by the end of the conversation, you're going to walk away on one side of that equation.
Facts. No, I mean,
you're not gonna be riding the fence as much. You're gonna be, you know what I mean, more decided.
Yeah.
Yo,
you know,
it's been. This is, by the way, like, this is just like fucking intro. Feels like, right? Like, yo,
bust
intro.
it.
Yo, so check it. Right. Listen, last time that we spoke, right? I was looking back on it, and I'm like, yo, did my man really skip over like the lineage? Like, yo, we did not talk about your Pop Dukes and some of the things that like he did and like what you got to be around in turn when you was a little tyke, right? Because I'm pretty sure Pop Dukes was like every father, right? Like, take son to work here and there, you know, or work comes home, right?
Here's the interesting thing. Like, I'm a fourth generation in the entertainment industry.
Right.
Did I talk to y'all about that
You
at all?
actually did. I took notes on this when I rewatched it. So your great grandfather did a bunch of event stuff, had interracial shows, brought ballet to Carnegie Hall. Your grandfather was a
Yeah, he
talent
threw the
agent
first
for
he threw the first ever concerts with Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald. Like
that's fucking
he
wild,
made these
actually.
crusty old Caucasians recognize culture. You feel me? Like
I
he
feel
knocked
you.
down the doors. Like he's part of that. So there's
And I
movies
believe
about that fool. That's my middle name right there. Saul Hurok. So yeah. Anyways, proceed.
your grandfather was a talent agent for a bunch of people. I only really wrote down Robin Williams, but you listed
Yep.
some other folks.
Yep. My grandfather
Um,
discovered Robin Williams coked out at the Purple Onion in San Francisco.
and then your mother made plays. I don't think you went
Correct.
that deep on it. And
Correct.
then your father was, you said filmmaker right quick and focused more on a drummer and being, he was connected to Miles Jones, Miles
Miles
Davis's
Davis. Yeah,
drummer.
yeah.
Miles
Well, yeah, he
Davis's
did.
drummer.
So
I know,
my
Why
I,
would you say Jones again? We already
I
Miles
know,
Jones,
discussed this
baby.
I
behind
forgot
the
to fix
scenes,
it.
Holden, and I told you that it was Miles Davis. There's no Miles Jones, and you're like,
Miles
you
Jones.
still go with fucking Miles Jones. Like, what
He
the
said
fuck?
he sells Miles
We
Jones sells fentanyl laced
we
Xanny
literally
bars in
talked about this all
Baltimore.
year.
But
Yeah, I made the effort.
nah, so
Yeah.
yeah. No, my pops he grew up in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, 77th in Columbus, which at the time was Columbus, that entire strip was all Puerto Rican. And it's not
Okay.
like the Upper West Side is now, like pretty much like predominantly Jewish neighborhood, super like beyond gentrified. It was gentrified so long ago, it's damn near becoming cool again. Like the Upper West Side. It's funny. Like what but he it was a he would take the trek all the way up to Harlem past 110th and was playing drums with during the Harlem Renaissance with the greats, with Miles and Coltrane and Cannonball Adderley. He was like a little white boy prodigy, age 16, playing drums. He was the his teacher was he was the protege of Philly Joe Jones, who was like the drummer on Bitches Brew, classic jazz albums.
Wow.
Era. He wound up then becoming the youngest anchorman in CBS News history. He was the anchorman of CBS News, 21 years old, covered the Vietnam War. He was the last. My dad's like Forrest Gump. It's crazy. Like
this is. I knew a little bit, right? But like, this is why. Like, real quick, not to interrupt, fucking Papa's story, right? But like, this is like a personal thing for me. Like, I feel like as I get older, the more that I'm curious about my own lineage, right? And it's just like, I'm also curious about my friends' lineage. And I think that it's worthwhile for us to speak on our fathers. I think the older we get, also, the more that we might understand our fathers, right? Even if you don't relate personally, you can understand a little bit better as you get older and you start seeing the sacrifices sometimes that people make in their life, right? So
1,000 and what and I feel this, I'd love to hear all of y'all stories like that, but something that that I hold dear to my heart is the fact that if you're white, there's a good chance you have trash lineage, like 100%. Like you go back a generation or two and it goes back to like, this guy was a racist. This go back a couple more. This motherfucker owned slaves. You go back, you know what I mean? Like this dude was doing this and that. Like I got none of that in my DNA. Like there's only two things in my DNA, and that's activism, like generations of civil rights activism, and entertainment. And then the whole other like branch of my Italian side, they was with the shits, like the way we know Italian people are. You feel me? Like, so I have cousins that were a part of that life. So if anything, that's like the shit that I'm not proud of. You know what I'm saying? The type of shit that most Italian Americans would be like, oh, like, guess what? Like my cousin or my uncle's in the mafia. Like my family thinks that's disgusting. And we like distance ourselves from that. But I still, RIP to my cousin Peter. He was really about that. He was really about it, Master P, about it, C Murder. You feel me? Free C Murder. So
word.
that being said, yeah, my dad My father interviewed Martin Luther King. He was one of the last interviews Dr. King ever had. He interviewed
Wow.
Malcolm X. He was the last interview that Malcolm X ever did.
Wow.
He was the only member of the liberal media that Malcolm X trusted. Malcolm X called my father 2 days before he died and said, they're going to kill me. You know what I mean? Had a conversation with my father. So it goes really, really deep. Both of my parents
Very
marched
deep,
on
I see.
Washington. My grandparents marched on Washington. Like, it's like, I have like it makes perfect sense the way I am. And then my father became, after that, an incredible filmmaker. As far as to answer your question, like, I did get to see some really dope things growing up, but it's something that I distanced myself from to a large degree because my
You
dad's
did mention
job
that.
my dad's job is what took him away from me. And so I was like,
Right.
and I don't want to minimize or undermine what an incredible father I have, because he's an
Mm-hmm.
incredible man and was a great father.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to like try to act like he wasn't present or wasn't there for me, but there was a lot of times he would be gone for a long time during my formative years. And my brothers
Right.
both went off to college when I was very young, so I was essentially raised by my mother and my grandmother in a lot of ways. And the streets of LA, I was outside, and nobody could tell me shit. Then my pops would come back home, try to tell me things like you what, you think you have some say in the matter here? Like,
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
my crib
Yeah.
now. Oedipus complex on fleek. You feel me? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all. Do that with our right. Like, and fathers. I think this is like a known thing. Like, all sons always test their fathers in some way at some point. Like, I raised up on my father literally one time.
oh, we used
Like,
to get in fist fights.
where like he really thought, like, and like I stood up on him, and like, yo, he put his fist through my chest, yo. That shit was like, I swear to this day, I never had, and I've been in so many scraps, and I've never been hit the way that my father hit me that time that I raised up on him. Like, he put his fist through my chest, and
As he should.
like, yeah, as he should. Like, on some, like, yo, you might be taller than me, but these hands is bricks, boy. Like, come get some when you're ready, Wild respect to the pops. But yeah, we come from, right, men that, like, maybe were not perfect, right? But, like, at the same time, like, what man is perfect, right? And, like, I appreciate what was given. You know what I mean? It sounds like you're in
100%.
the
I don't
same.
want to sound like,
You're in the same. No. I was gonna say, it
Nah,
sounds like
but
you're in the same place where, like, it's just, we're men, right? So, like, we recognize the truth in it, and, like, you don't like to flower things too much either. Like, it's like you like to be honest about exactly what things are.
yeah. And then like, and that's what it is. And it's funny because like, I don't fuck with Mark Twain because he wrote some books that I think are really questionable, but he does have a quote that I really like. I like when bro said, he said, when I'm paraphrasing, he's like, when I was 17, like, thought my father was the stupidest man on the face of the earth. When I was 21, I was amazed at what he had learned the last 4 years. So I was like, okay, you feel me? I get it. You feel me? Like, there's irony for that ass right there. But also,
Right.
like, for me, uh, drug use and alcohol started at a very young age. It started as fun, quickly graduated to fun with consequences, and then consequences, to the point where, I was 12 when I started getting fucked up, sixth grade. Pretty typical for my side of town, west side of Los Angeles. We grew up quick. 13, I got arrested for the first time. 16, I'm in the juvenile system. I was in juvie when I was 16. You know what I mean? Like, between 16 and 19, I'm in and out of 9 different treatment centers and homes. So, you know, I had went a very different path than I could have.
Yeah. I mean, that's not one of those things that it's like, it's not to be ashamed of or proud of, right? Like, it's just one of those things that just is,
it just gives the
I
character.
like my friends, like, where I came from, right? Like, I might not have come from much at all, like, financially, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I had both my parents in my home. So, like, it's always like all my friends growing up are always looking at me automatically. I already know what time it is. Like on some like, you got told your parents like
right. No, one of my homies literally said that.
Kid, you know,
one of my homies said, if both of your parents are still alive, you haven't been through shit in your life. And I was like, bro, I've been through so much more than you, but that's funny and I like it regardless. Like I like it. I like it. I love the energy.
No,
it Wiley just like builds character though, right? Like your life is this like constant movie-esque experience of things where you had some maybe rougher experiences when you're young, and maybe it isn't like the more glorious path, but you wouldn't probably be here today without that skill set. You probably wouldn't have been
it's funny because people like I've seen it all from like Mediterranean villas to the projects. It's like people have said things to me like, oh, like he's a rich kid or he grew up privileged. I was like, homie, I've lived in Section 8 housing. Are you fucking kidding me? I've been in fucking juvenile detention centers for the majority of my adolescence. What? Like privileged? Are you fucking kidding me? Like I'm out the trenches with it. I've experienced both sides of that though. So it gives me a certain depth and under and overstanding that a lot of people lack. And that's, I'm grateful for that perspective. I'm very grateful for the scope and the breadth of my experience. And it makes me very appreciative. Like I have a lot of problems in my life to this day, but I'll say this, I'm so grateful for the problems that I have right now, because they are such a far cry from the problems that I had a few years ago. And even like the way I was when y'all interviewed me last time, like I'm still humble and I still pray on a daily basis. I thank God on a daily basis for allowing me to be present, tolerant, loving, caring, forgiving, and accepting. You know what I mean? But like, so humility is something that I strive for. But at the same time, I was like, life done kicked my ass. I was like a turtle that was barely poking his head out through the shell again. Like, well, I think I'm going to be okay. Now it's like, what?
Believe me, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, you're kind of crushing it though. Like you,
hey, it could all be gone right now. I'm I'm grateful for this moment because that could all be gone tomorrow.
Facts.
It's definitely that attitude though, that humility that just makes you such a likable person.
No, that means a lot. Thank you. You know, it's funny. Just speaking of my pops, he told me a crazy anecdote. My pops, he said like he was like talking about this dude. I'll just say his name. So my pops went to Syracuse University, and there was a dude that went to Syracuse with him. It was a homie of his. His name was Ernie Davis. Ernie Davis, you probably haven't heard of him, but he was one of the biggest, like, he was a huge college football star. Like, this dude was going to the league. You know what I mean? Like, he was amazing football player. He was like that dude, and he had the finest girlfriend. He had the dopest life. You feel me? Like this like dude that was about to be a huge star. And my pops was thinking to himself one day, he's like, damn, I wish I was him. I wish I was him. You know what? That motherfucker wound up getting diagnosed with cancer a week later.
Jesus. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah,
no longer wishing that no more.
You know, that's why, like, you know what I mean? Like if I was ever like, oh, I wish I was Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, nah. I super don't wish to be nobody. Like I'm wild happy
I'm super happy to be inspired by people.
Nah, great anecdote on your father's part. You know what I mean? Like absolutely.
An R.I.P. Ernie Davis. And like the thing is, you never know. Like that's why back to the jewelry. That's why like I do things like if I die, I'm gonna go out like this. You know what I mean? God willing. And this ain't really. And I aspire for so much more because I could lose this all right now. I could lose everything I have. You know what I mean? Like my my you know, I don't want to put any energy out there, but let's say someone I love needs a kidney and I need to give. You know what I mean? Like so much could fucking happen. You never know. You know, and that's why like just got to be present. I got to be present. I got to be grateful. And that's the things that drive me.
Word.
Oh, that's amazing.
And pussy.
Yo, but all of that probably helps get better quality pussy too. So it basically is it's a universal skill set.
Come on,
So
bro.
listen, let's get into it, Lush. So um we touched back on some of the things that we talked about in the last interview. You actually fucking did a great job of kind of like actually talking some of the most important pinpoints on who you are, right? But like we said, we talked to you a year ago, right? Like a lot
Mhm.
has happened in that year. Can you walk us through like these multiple different things that you've been having happen and where you're at with it? Tell us a little bit about all of these many, right? Because like we talked lightweight about the podcast, right? Like, wow, which one came first, the chicken or the egg? You know,
Man,
like
all I know is I was watching Lush One on KOTD Twitch a couple of times, and then all of a sudden Lush One's everywhere doing everything, and it just seems like it elevated very fast.
Yeah, this fool fucking Holden's country tried to enslave me since that's what they do, enslave people, and fucking had me as the fucking
Go Canada.
and you feel me? Nah, it's to quote was it Jerry Garcia or Jim Morrison? What a long, strange trip it's been. It's you know back I thought that I was done with battle rap. Like I 100% like I got out of treatment, and like when I was in treatment for which was 4 months, I was at like a just a BRC recovery because that place changed my life in Maynard, Texas. It was like you're either gonna get sober or you're gonna die. It was a facility for chronic relapsers, and I always thought that I was a chronic relapser, but the reality is I had never relapsed because I never had an earnest attempt at recovery. Every single time from my early days, and I'd been in 12-step programs, been in treatment centers my whole life, in and out. But it was always just to pacify the state of California, my parents, whatever woman I was with at the time. It was never a genuine effort to get sober. And anytime I would be there, I'm doing whatever I could to get high. Literally, I've snorted drywall, I've smoked fucking banana peels, I fucking smoked toothpaste, like I've done whatever, you know what I mean? Made my that thing where you hyperventilate, you feel me, and like cut off the oxygen to your brain. Like I used to do all that shit. So it was never really wanted to be clean. This was my first attempt at sobriety, but being there, uh, we had access to the phones once a week. You're able to use the phone for 10 minutes on a monitored call to either whoever they choose. So for me, it was either like one of my parents or my fiance or one of my brothers, and it would like rotate every other week. Sometimes I wouldn't even get it, and I had to wait like over 2 weeks to even get that privilege. And there's obviously no social media, no phones, we had little radios which were MP3 players, but we could use them as radios. And it was like the Rio MP3 player type shit. You feel me? And you could record, like songs from the radio. So I was like super. I don't know. I hated it because I was super bummed out because I had no access to the music I wanted to hear. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
but like I remember
right.
like I loved that Roddy Rich song, "The Box," because they would play it on the radio all the time, and it was like reminded me of home. It's like an LA
Yeah, yeah.
song, and it was
It
super
was a
dope.
slapper for sure.
He has a slapper, and I still love that record. But like, I remember talking to my homies when I got out, like, "Have you heard The Box by Roddy Rich?" They're all laughing at me, like, that's just lame as fuck. Hella played out. What the Roddy Rich, The
Yeah,
Box?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
have you heard that song? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, have you heard that song "Juicy" by the Notorious Big? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like what? Have you heard? Have you heard fucking Taylor Swift before? Like, you know what I mean? So I had like no access to any dank jams. And I had like, and I was just like, I would find little radio shows, whatever. But like, I had no, and we had television once, like only on weekends, and it was like restricted on what we could watch. So I had no idea what's going on in the world. Completely was cut off. Like I get out after 4 months, and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm gonna be popping. I get out, I've lost 200 Instagram followers. I'm like, oh, okay. Um, I was like, damn, the most important blogger in battle rap is a sock puppet. Norbs isn't with URL anymore. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this shit is like, yo, this is bizarro world. And I was like, you know what? Like, I got my music. I'm gonna put out my album. Like, for me, if a few people listen to it, that'd be tight. Like
Super
I've
tight
had,
album.
yeah, like I've.
Super good.
Thank you, thank you. I was like, battle rap, we don't had a good run. I'm pretty sure when the history books get written, if they don't have my picture on one of the pages, I'm definitely a fat ass footnote. Like that's all good. And I was literally gonna be done with that shit. And then, they brought me back for the little King of the Dot Grand Prix, which I wound up like, which is fire. And shouts to Organic for putting me in position. That's my dog. But then I wound up like carrying that shit on my back and the entire KOTDS one. Like that was literally on my back. I was frontline. I was the heart and soul of that entire thing. You know what I mean? And that's not to like literally. It's like not to diminish the efforts of anybody else, but Organic was building his Ghost Drops brand. There's only so much time to get allocated to it. Like I made that my obsession. Like I made that
Right.
my obsession, and at a certain point, it was weird. Like Disaster's wanted to do his own thing for a while. Like he's wanted us to have something, and he like before I even came back to battle rap and Organic had hit me up. Disaster, who like me and Diz got in, like I had fucked Disaster over shortly before, like a month or two before I went to treatment, and we weren't. He's like, I'm never talking to you again. He blocked me on social media. You know what I mean? He's like, I can't. I've watched you destroy yourself for
Brother
so many
shit.
years. Like, yeah, like I just don't want to. I can't have anything to do with you. Like, I love you, but fuck you. Don't ever talk. Don't ever lose my number. Is what he said. Lose my
Word.
number, and he meant it. You know what I mean? Like, and
Mhm.
I was like, and when I got out, he like winds up DMing me after, like, I'm popping up on people's feeds, and like people are like, oh, Lush One's back, whoopty whoopty whoop. Like he's seeing my energy, like I'm on some positive shit, doing like recovery blogs, whatever. This fool Diz sends me a DM. I've never spoke about this. Diz sends me a DM, and he's like, first he follows me back, like follows me all of a sudden. I was like, oh shit, Diz is following me. So I'm like, okay. Then he sends me a DM. He's like, you fucking still owe me money, right? Like, you owe me money. And I think he was expecting me to like argue with him. But like I sent him like this long letter and like acknowledging, I was like, yeah, I know. And I know like, look, I'm painfully aware of what I did to you. And, I'm not, there's no way I'm way too humble of a position to ask you for forgiveness. But what I do want to do is like make amends, like as a living a rigorously honest life based on spiritual principles. I need to make amends for the ways that I've harmed you. And I know that I've harmed you in the following ways. And, and whether or not you forgive me, which would be dope if, I would love to rekindle my relationship with you. But most important, I want to offset the wrongs that I've created in the universe by wronging you and make them right however I can. So this is what I know I've done to you. If there's anything else or you have anything to say, let me know. I'm here to talk. And he was like, whoa, I was not expecting you to fucking say that shit. And, we wind up going back and forth. Then he calls me and he's like, yo, Lush, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're fucking a nobody now. Like you're like you were the fucking man. You ran battle rap, not a nickel bag got sold in the park of battle rap and Party Hill battle rap that you didn't have in on. And here you are now. He's like, everyone's smacking their fucking flexing on you. Look how huge they are. Look at all this money they're making. They just got this fucking caffeine deal with Drake, and they're millionaires. They're millionaires now. Look at everybody else is doing better than you. Look at RBE's doing better than you. Organics, everyone. Like, you're not even in the conversation anymore, bro. Like how did you let that happen? And
Your
I was like,
brothers
you
are
know
the
what? Like,
best.
yeah,
Honest
like
brothers are the best.
no one kicked it to me like that. And I was like, yeah, but you know, like I'm more than that. Like I'm, you know, like hip hop, like fuck battle rap. I'm all about hip hop culture and music, and I'm still making an impact. And I'm grateful for what I've experienced, but this is like what I'm going to do moving forward. He's like, I'm not going to front. Your music is fire. But when people 30 years from now, what people are going to be talking about, if you're lucky enough to have anyone talk about you, it's going to be through your contributions to battle rap. You know what I mean? That is your motherfucking legacy. All that other shit is cool. You can do that whenever you want. You feel me? Look at Black Thought. He's 50, rapping better than he ever has. You feel me? Look at Hove. You feel me? These motherfuckers are, you know. But like you, like
Oh,
you
cute dog.
come on,
Cute dog flex.
my son. But you, this is what you are. This is who you are. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have even gone back to doing the King of the Dot thing and having that opportunity. But he really wanted to get our own thing back. And he's like, the way I see you as the biggest boss in this whole thing. And I know what I am, speaking of himself, like, and I'm going to be like a clandestine, larger than life supernova of a star that is supersedes what anybody thinks that I'm capable of. And there's only one person that could help me get there, and it's you. None of these other guys are capable of it. It's you. And I don't trust any of them. I trust you. So I'm fucking, and that was really the Vince Lombardi on fucking crystal meth speech that I needed to feel inspired to get back to being the man that I'm supposed to be and being in the position. And, you know, it was the whole story of how we got the shit popping and you feel me, talking to every fucking high-powered gang member, to the fucking mob, to everybody else to try to get the shit off to, you know, billionaire venture capitalists and getting every door slammed in our face and having like unfortunate circumstance while I'm still doing all that shit with King of the Dot. I'm like trying to get this shit set off because at King of the Dot, not only like do I have visions that I'm not able to get accomplished because I only have as much perceived power as you might think I had. It's not my vision. At the end of the day, King of the Dot is amazing. They're incredible at what they do. A Canadian battle rap league. And that's what they are. You feel me? They're not West Coast battle rap. You know what I mean? They're not American battle rap. They're amazing, but that's what they are. You know what I mean? And there was like, it was this whole confusion around what this like identity crisis for both of us. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. They weren't doing, and it served us both poorly in a lot of ways over the years. You know what I mean? That's not to say like they're allies. I love them for life. You know what I mean? And they love it like so, and I'm grateful for them. And when they take that shit back to Toronto, they're gonna fucking flex on everybody, and it's gonna be larger than life. And you feel me? The stars they created, the Pastes and Sharons and Low Pesci's, like Bender, R.I.P., will forever, you know, shine on until the next generation comes and carries that torch. With that being said, like I was making less than a fucking assistant manager at Wendy's over there, working 20-hour days, you know. So all those multitude of reasons coming together created the perfect storm. And the funny thing is like how we brought mechanical royalties and residual income to battle rappers, provided ownership of the content and footage that these battle rappers are creating to battle rap. Let me tell you how I came up with that. And it was like an amalgam of a few different events. The first thing that happened was I wound up getting the distribution deal under Sony Orchard and launching my own imprint, Snow Cone Records, right? Shouts to my dog, Rob Schwartz, for setting that play up. Now, I put out one of my records, and it's funny because like I have records that have generated over 6 figures in residual income through placements, etc. But I never even really learned too much about PRO companies and the way they work. the way monetization. I'm gonna drop some jewels right now. So one day I'm looking
What's the
at
game?
no, add a crease to your brain. Check game though. Catch this. I'm looking at my royalty statements from Snow Cone, and I'm like, damn, I almost made 5 racks this month. How is that possible? I barely got fucking, you feel me, like 40,000 streams or whatever. How the fuck is that possible? And then I looked, so something happened on TikTok. And what happened on TikTok is this. First of all, I'm gonna let y'all know this. For the first time, I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, TikTok overtook Spotify as the most generating of revenue for digital streaming platforms. So just keep that in mind. That's a sidebar though, right? I was like, how the fuck did I don't even have a TikTok account. How did I make 5 bands off TikTok? Well, I sampled something in one of my songs that was from a random YouTube video. Because I have distribution under Sony Orchard, so when I put that sample on my record, no one had ownership of that clip due to the fact that I put it out under Sony Orchard and it created the ISRC code. An ISRC code is something that's generated with every musical release once it gets put through a distribution platform. You take that ISRC code and you use it to sign up with, you use it when you sign into ASCAP or BMI, or if you're in Canada, SOCAN, you know, whatever whoever your PRO company is, and you attach that to, that's how you get your royalties, right? It's through your ISRC code. So that ISRC code was associated with my albums, and since that record came out through Sony Orchard, and Sony Orchard chases the bag and has such a sophisticated content ID parameters and system, that when that clip that I had sampled wound up going viral on TikTok on a bunch of different videos. Like someone found that YouTube clip, not from my song, but the YouTube clip, and then everybody started doing little remixes of it, and it had several million streams on, like, or whatever instances on TikTok, and then I wound up being the one to monetize it. I'm still making racks every month off of that to this day. So then I realized, like, oh shit, remember like a few years ago when Sue Surf and K-Shine had their clip that went fucking super viral, and all the different rappers were remixing it and like playing that in the background? I was like, damn, but they didn't get fucking paid off of that because nobody owns the rights to it. Like, it's monetized on URL's YouTube channel, and that's it. But there's nobody claiming the mechanical royalties or the residuals or the placement revenue from that shit. Nobody's getting that. Nobody's like, damn, nobody's actually getting the royalties from that. Like, what the fuck? And then I was like, all you need is an ISRC code, and then you can start doing that for every single battle that comes out or has been out. And unfortunately, it's not retroactive income. So like, I can't, if URL were to put that out and attach, you know, Sue Surf, and, you know, like they're not going to get the revenue from that, unfortunately. But everything moving forward, they will.
Moving forward, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's
so
moving
like,
forward is
so you have to
solid.
like release it to like anywhere, or do you just upload it to generate the ISRC?
Well, anywhere. So if you could release it, you could get an ISRC code on TuneCore, on
right.
You know, any, like, you could get it on DistroKid, CD Baby, whatever, that you could get an ISRC code. But then you need to go into your PRO company, and like, if you have ownership of it, that's how you wind up, you know, doing that.
That's wild. So like, in theory, could you do that with a podcast?
You can.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's fucking wild.
Any piece of content.
Yeah. Yo, so
holy shit.
Why don't you explain to us a little bit more about how because you've been out here, I don't want to skip too much, right? I do want to get back to all the other things, right? Because I'm pretty sure that some of this other stuff did end up popping up along the ride, right? But getting into further what we're talking about right now, right? What have all the things that you've been talking about out here about band royalty and
so that's the other component right there. Is so coincidentally back in around September, October of last year, once again through my bro Rob Schwartz, introduced me to his friend Noble Dracone. Now, Noble Dracone, not only is he like, people think he's just like an NFT, crypto, Web3 aficionado. Nah, this dude, not only is he a best-selling published author and just like an expert salesman. This, first of all, Noble's from the trenches. He's from the hood in Long Beach. Actually lived in the Bronx for several years as well. Then moved back to Long Beach, so he's bi-coastal with it. But yeah, Noble got into owning music royalties back in the 90s and monetizing people's catalogs. So he bought, he owns the rights to songs by Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Jay-Z. Like he has partial ownership in a huge catalog. So that was the catalyst for him becoming wealthy. And that's why he's really into the whole aspect of putting ownership and helping artists gain control of their catalogs and their destinies and being able to monetize that. So he merely used NFTs as a vessel for helping usher that in and became really revolutionary. Partnered with this dude named Barnaby Anderson, who's just basically like an old school elite hacker spelled with a Q. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these dudes came together and formed Band Royalty. And he hit me up because Rob was, he was accumulating a lot of Rob's catalog to create with, because Rob, has over 1,200 artists at his disposal. Now, he was like, you got to talk to my boy Lush. He's like, he's like responsible for over 1.5 billion views on YouTube through battle rap. Like, you should talk to him about battle rap. And then, I explained to him, like, he was like, well, like, I know you're running this tournament or whatever right now. And there's $100,000 cash prize. Like, let's work together. I'll give some crypto to the winner. And I was like, what? No, let's sit down. Let's really talk about this. And we sat down the first time. Sat down at cafe.
Lush was like, you need to pump the brakes, buddy.
Yeah,
you gotta slow down.
We sat down in Santa Monica, had a meal. Me and Diz pulled up in a slingshot. Full bumping sugar free. Hopped out. Closed a $500,000 deal that same day.
Okay.
And then it only grew exponentially from there. And yeah.
And so how is it that all of this is going to work together?
So as far as NFTs, the NFT market is shit right now. I don't fully believe in the utilization. I don't believe in the way NFTs as far as being a collectible or being something that's gonna, I see a lot of the scammy aspects to it, which I don't like. But what we're using it as a vessel to gain access to elite GTX experience, which essentially is, hey, like, if you buy this stuff, this is your path. This is your pass to getting into events for free, to getting first access to streetwear drops that we're releasing, to getting first access. I don't like the word merch. That's trash. We collaborate with major streetwear brands. You know what I mean? Like Cut and Sew. You feel me? Like, fuck, what the fuck is merch? We do streetwear, limited edition drops. You feel me? Like, you have access to. So like we're giving you access. We're creating an experience that you could become a part of. You could help determine matches. Like, we have a bunch of perks, benefits, and utility associated with that. Now, where does that come into play with the mechanical royalties? We already are offering mechanical royalties and partial ownership or total ownership for every rapper that battles on our platform. But in addition to this is a way that they're getting direct monetization off of every sale that's made off of the NFTs that bear their image and likeness. They're generating revenue instantly. It goes directly to their MetaMask wallet. They get paid off of it instantly. So that's how it correlates.
Wow.
And, yeah.
So wait a minute. Question, right? So I am battle rapper damn shit, man. Trying to come up with a fucking name off the top of the head, and I'm just like, watch it. All this is gonna be I was gonna say XYZ, but I'm like, I feel like that's so close to
Bodega Cat. Your Bodega Cat.
Bodega Cat, right? MC Bodega Cat, right? Is coming to you. He's popping. He's just, fresh off the streets. He don't got no songwriting, publishing, nothing set up. What is the situation when he comes to you guys as far as him generating? And is it like just like, yo, here, you're getting paid like every other battle rapper before, or is there like a situation where like, yo, we're coming with something different and we're gonna help you 360 your own situation?
Well, 360 has a connotation of now you're bound to us, which is
Nah,
not the case. But I know what you're saying, though.
Yourself.
Yeah, right. So, well, Bodega Cat. Here's what we're gonna do. If you have music you want to put out, not only do we have a distribution outlet for your music, you want to battle. You want, MC Lil Chop Cheese is popping. So Bodega Cat, we're gonna set you up against Lil Chop Cheese. Not only are you both gonna get flown out to wherever city the battle's in on, a nice flight and put in a 4 or 5 star hotel at minimum, with the Mercedes Sprinter. That's what we'd be doing. That's going to take you to the event, and you're going to get paid well. Upon signing, you're going to get your deposit. You know what I mean? Like, you're literally like our first card. In a 24-hour period, we had all the contracts signed and deposits sent out within a 24-hour period. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how GTX gets down. So right. Bodega Cat, you're going to get taken care of very well. Now, in addition to that, you're going to have your battle. Your battle is going to come out. You're going to receive a portion of the monetization of that battle. You're going to receive your residual income because you signed up for BMI as a result of this, which you didn't have before. Now you're getting not only your residual income and your quarterly payment, but you're also getting royalties as well. You're getting your performance royalties as well, and you are and you're getting a portion of the NFT sales from you and Lil Chop Cheese's battle. So that's how it works.
Damn, man, that is a nice.
That's wild. And
that's a
and
nice
here's
package.
the thing: like we want this to become normalized in battle rap culture. People have been talking about bringing royalties and residual income to battle rap for years, but no one knew how to implement it. And the reason why I'm not afraid to give out the sauce is for a multitude of reasons. I want this to become the new norm that sets a new precedent, that improves the economy and the overall landscape of battle rap, which raises the standard. It creates more longevity and legitimacy for the entire scene across the board. Not only is that going to happen, but the way by the time, like, good luck even getting a system that monetizes as good as a Sony Orchard system. You know what I mean? Like you're even if you sign a distribution deal like with Ingrooves Universal, it's not as sophisticated. So even if you get another one on Sony Orchard, you're not on a preferred platform like under the HUMAG umbrella like we are. So even if you wind up getting that, we're already thinking about 5 steps ahead when it comes. So we want y'all to be able to do that, but the way we're going to be able to help artists monetize is always going to be ahead of the razor's edge.
Oof. Word. Man.
Yeah.
Nah, it sounds like the inmates are running the prison, and when the inmates are running the prison, usually things finally start getting a little bit more fair. And
the rabbit's got the gun.
That's what I was curious about, because I've been saying this for a long time. Like I felt like, yo, after 10 years at least, like it should have been like record deals at the very least, bad record deals, right? From the 80s and the 90s. But it was like 10 years or 10 albums and shit. And back then it was like this like unfathomable thing. Like, what? 10-year career? I'm a rapper. I don't know if I'll be around tomorrow, right? But then next thing you know, you're in your fucking 12th year and, you didn't maybe set things up right and you're still stuck, But like it should be at least that like all these guys, Hollow, Ilmac, all these guys that had these fucking millions of view battles, like after 10 years, the rights to their likeness should have went back to them. We've been needed representation in battle rap for the artist because nobody is really looking out for the artist. Everybody's kind of like stuck in the same routine of doing the same thing because it works and it's effective, but they're not worried about improving the machine because it's working so effectively. And really, like, improvement in the systems and the functions of the system is where we're gonna get somewhere, right? And things can like elevate.
Flacco, let me ask you, bro, is it really working well? Like, how many of these fools?
Nah.
How many of these fools are broke?
I'm just saying it's working, right? Like it's working in a way, perceivably to the people, and there are people that are making money, right? But it definitely isn't what it should be. Like it should have been so much further by now. Like 10 years, we're more than 10 years in now. You know what I mean? Like the system hasn't changed, and it's the system that we built together. You know what I mean? So like I'm like very keenly aware that I'm like watching it. I'm like, yo, this is all shit that we started. Like until the major leagues started getting on the apps, you were still running on a function that we invented in G-Tech with pay-per-view, right? Like that was literally a function that like we was out here pioneering. These are all the time formats, the 3-rounders. These are all things that we pioneered that it's like, yo, this is running on our system. It needs to improve, you know? Like it's good. It clearly works, right? It's 10 years in. There's a proven formula. This is successful. But at 10 years in, I definitely don't think that we're at where we should have been. I think that this is a good step forward. Everything that you said sounds like the step in the right direction of things
I have a
changing
question
up.
about like your just whole system. The other day, somebody sent me a clip where somebody made a compilation and Flacco's in it. So in theory, if you registered that battle from back in the day and this clip proceeds to get several million views, is that like a bag waiting to be had?
That's a bag waiting to be had.
Because like while the video itself might not be, the compilation's still getting views to this day, and I believe that that's how it works. Is any amount of the video is enough for a claim on YouTube?
Well, so here's the thing. Think about it like this: like Loaded Lux saying, "You gonna get this work." Just that fucking that 3 seconds. How many times on the internet has that been played? How many Instagram stories has that been shared on? How many viral tweets have a clip from that moment right there? You know what I mean? Like how many TikToks have been people lip syncing that right there? You know what I'm saying? Like that, the fact that he doesn't have royalties coming from that, you know, like is crazy. Crazy.
It is crazy.
So but that means that you're creating a system that gives anybody that ever did this an opportunity to still get something.
1000%. You feel me? Like it's like this. Let's say it's the equivalent of like I was in a band in the 1960s that got dropped by Motown Records. We only had one single deal, and then that fucking got sampled in a Chris Brown song. You know what I mean? Like, but no one owns the rights to it. Like, none of us get paid off of that. Like, doesn't that fucking suck? Like, I want my grandchildren to be able to eat off of that bass line that I played in the Chris Brown song that he sampled.
Right. No, that's
wild.
Yeah, no,
I always that's one of the things that I've always said that like is the bigger crime. Like people talk about artists. There's certain artists that like right they we know, you and me, from this industry, there are artists that are hard to sample because they make it practically impossible. They're trying to take you for your entire record just for the sample, right? And it's funny to me because when I think about it, I'm like, yo, 9 times out of 10 is an exaggerated figure, but I'm sure that a great percentage of the time we are sampling the instruments on the record that the artist did not play. And a session player got paid a one-time fee to come in and play this great piece of music, and they just are rocked to, like, that's what they got, period. And that's it. And now artists, old school artists, such and such, gets to like profit forever and be a fucking hard ass about the sample and like how much they're willing to like let another artist use, when in reality it's a fucking session player that like played that beautiful music and just got a one-time payment and never got to see another fucking piece of that bread. And it's like, yo, they were supposed to.
That's an amazing point. That's hell of a. That's incredible. That's like, yeah. Okay, so Marvin Gaye tripping on Pharrell for Blurred Lines and shit. But what about bro that played the drums on that song? Where's his money at?
You know what I'm saying? No care for that guy. It's kind of like people are starting to make note of like nowadays, like with these Marvel movies that are blowing up, right? Like that. It's like, yo, Jack Kirby and the artist, they get they get a name in the credits, but it's like, yo, are you making sure that like, or even right now, Thor, Love, God of Love and Thunder is gonna be coming out. There's like a scene in the movie that is literally picked right from the comic book scene that was like recent, you know? And it's like, yo, it's cool that the artist got credit in the movie, but like, did you make sure that he's getting paid more official now, period? That you see that these images that he's drawing in the comic books are literally influencing what you're putting in a movie? Because like that's what really should be happening, more than like a blurb little credit in like the end where like people are super not caring. They're just waiting for that fucking scene to come at the end of the fucking flick in the movie theater. You know what I'm saying? Like, as people getting paid right. Like, that's the most important thing for us creatives. That is the most important thing, getting paid for your work.
Facts.
Drop a gem on them.
But it sounds like you guys are like, that is like, yo, signing up guys to get like a piece of like some pub on some like your shit getting posted places is like,
no, but like, wildly, like,
this is the direction that it's insane that we're thinking that some shit that should have been right, like, is insane. But like, it is insane, and it's
this
amazing.
Is like huge
insane.
beyond battle rap. Like, I had a podcast get like 15,000 views on Spotify one time, and I got nothing for that. Just 15,000 spins on Spotify on a podcast.
And that's just your streaming revenue. And look, 15,000, you might not be getting a huge fat publishing check from that, but you would have got more though if you know what I'm saying. Like,
I didn't get nothing because it's like,
no, but I'm saying if you had publishing, you know what I mean. If you had registered that with the SOCAN, you know what I mean, and treated it like an actual release, like you can't, like, it's different when you put things through the podcast system. It like strips away a lot of those rights, so a lot of it depends on how it's actually released.
I had no idea that you could do that. I know maybe I should have, but like when you Google
it's all in. So it's all in labeling. So if you label it as a vocal album, you know what I mean? Like, and catalog it as such. If it's cataloged as a podcast, then that shit's out the window. But if you catalog it a certain way, and then obviously they're going to remove it from like the podcast distribution, and it'll be harder to show up as far as search engines. Like, the SEO is going to be fucked off. But if you're really concerned about like monetizing publishing from a podcast, you just like put it out as like a comedy album. There's a lot of ways to flip the script and get around that and generate an ISRC code.
Yeah, that's wild.
Hack the planet.
Hack the fucking planet. For
real. Like, Google can't teach what less one knows.
This what happens when I stop doing drugs. I wasn't tripping on shit like that before.
No, but this is like you gotta understand, dude. Like, last time we talked, okay, like you fucked me up and taught me some really pivotal shit that effectively shaped the last year of my life. Like, I didn't know there was no Montreal accent. That fucked me up, bro. Then I started thinking about slang. Now we trying to invent slang. We like really like, I took that shit mad serious, you know? And it's like the way local music is so impacted by the culture around. Like, I never thought of it like that. And then I thought that was profound. You done like took that and 10x this shit, bro, in this podcast. This is like some fucking, like, people should be paying you for this level of game.
Thank you. I mean, like, look, it ain't even about that. It's I appreciate that, but you know, the game is to be sold. The game is to be told, not sold. You know, like, I'm all about I was put up on game. Who am I? I won't be able to keep what I have if I don't share it with others.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that you're like
I'm
that.
I'm
But like,
grateful for the gems
fuck.
that were bestowed upon me. You feel me? So
Yeah, I was at Nems's art gallery a couple weekends ago, and we're out there, and I had seen some Nems videos. You know what I'm saying? I was sharing them, and one of them, like, he had mentioned, like, "Yo, bro, I did so much dirt. Like, at this point, like, I'm trying to like flip that karma." And I feel that I could empathize wholeheartedly with that sentiment. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers did so much dirt out here that I'm just like, yo, I'm way better off right now being a little bit more giving and caring and loving and spreading the, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do as much as I can to like change that bad karma that I got surely coming back to me still. You know what I'm saying? So like,
nah, one thou wow.
for real. So
It's
like
a
I feel the energy of like yo, nah, this isn't, like you could profit off of it, but like that's not, I don't think that that's gonna suit you as much
Nah,
as giving this away is gonna
I was
suit
just
you. You
saying
know what
the
I'm saying?
value's high, bro. Like
Yeah,
I
nah,
don't
the
hear
what the
a
value
fuck
is
lot
I look
of.
super
like,
high.
Gary V. You feel me? Like, look, it's all about being like, it's to me. I call it what you were just referring to, a living amends, a living
Yeah.
amends. Because
Mm,
I don't done some people slimy. I can't make amends for that. But like I said, it's just like when I was talking about when I first reconnected with Diz. Like, what can I do to offset the negativity I've put into the universe? What can I do? What can I add to the stream of life as opposed to taking from
Yeah.
yo, can I ask you a question that I'd be remiss to somebody asked me to ask you, and I'd feel bad if I forgot. What was it like pulling up on Crooked Eye or King Crooked?
it? Pulling up on him,
Yeah, like the whole
Well,
like
like I was
video
gonna
and
do a
stuff.
drill. Like no, um,
Bro,
so,
yeah, fair enough.
nah, so Crook. I've been cool with Crook for a long time. Him and Diz are very close, have a big mutual amount of respect. Like a lot of like the genius and the ideas behind like 90% of them in GTX is Diz. He's like, people don't understand like his mind for business and creativity. I'm the CEO. He's the creative director. Like my fiance Marisa is the
word.
CFO. Like it's, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Direct is the president. Um, you know, um, Head of operations. But chief operator. So, but the thing is, Disaster is such a he had the vision, like, so everything, he knew that he wanted to battle Crook, and connected us, and we wound up, that deal took us over a year to solidify, going back and forth, talking to different potential interested parties. We're in fucking Vegas at the Green Valley Ranch off the strip in a $10 million suite, negotiating deals. Floyd Mayweather's over there, and fucking Dan Bilzerian, and all these people like fucking scumbag individuals and shit. Like, not that they're not scumbags. I'm just saying. Well, Dan Bilzerian, like a bunch of type beat motherfuckers, and hype beast type beat. It was, I didn't know that rhymes, but Diz had like Diz literally came up with the concept of GTX, carved the logo with the fucking razor blade in a piece of cardboard, like on some, created the hand style. I hated the logo. He's like, no, this is the logo. Everybody could create. No, like no one creates their own fonts. They just use fonts they find on editing programs and shit. I'm making my own font. This is like graffiti. This is like, we're being creative. Like, you don't understand the power of this logo and the vision. And like, he held that fucking piece of cardboard up to the light and made like a makeshift lamp out of it. And like, I'm not even lying. Like, that's literally what happened. And
Yeah,
he
I'm
was
not
like,
mad at that.
yeah, I'm gonna battle Crooked Eye, and first I'm gonna battle Assassino, then I'm gonna battle Crooked Eye. He has another huge battle in between that. That's a different story. But and he's like, and we're bringing back Grind Time, and I was like, really, Grind Time? He's like, yeah, and we're bringing betting to battle rap. We're doing all this shit. We're bringing back Grind Time. I was
Oh shit.
like,
Hey, the homie villain, he had been involved with the dude out in Boston that had tried to do that, like tried to make and quickly learn, how difficult some things are. And I think that he didn't
Yeah,
have
because that's
the
because you need to have
full
an
understanding. Yeah, he also didn't have a full understanding in outside of the culture, right? Like just a fan trying to profit, or somebody who saw a smart play and tried to profit, but then couldn't because for whatever reason. But like that, like I always thought, like yo, that's wild smart. Like there's no reason that it shouldn't be. We all know, you know what I'm saying? Like we all
right now
bet.
you could go
And
there's a sports book right now you could go to in conjunction with my dog Alex Wilson, Bet Life Sports. You could bet on this weekend's Ultimate Madness 250 max bets. It's live offshore sports book in Costa Rica, uh Florida LLC. So yeah, that's anyways, whole different segue. But Diz had all these visions, and Diz had all these visions of what he wanted to bring to the table, and the grind time thing. It was like he's like, yeah, like you don't understand. Like I understand like certain brands, like on a fashion perspective, like Carl Kanai is wavy right now because it's been out of style for so long. You pull out
mhm.
those old fucking Kanai rugbies from the '90s, you're gonna look like fly because it's like vintage now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
big
all
fact.
that shit was kind of like wavy now. Even like some Ed Hardy, if you wear it in a nice ironic way, you could pull off
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
gonna look, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
there's
big
like
fact.
so there's I have an understanding that grind time went from being like played out to antiquated to like a leper to like kind of like vintage retro cool to like wow nostalgia, and we bring it back with the 2022 facelift. Bring back, I'm not going to be involved in a company without black ownership. Direct is our partner. You feel me? Like not only is our investor a black dude, but like it's in hip hop culture, like that's not fucking happening on my watch. You know what I mean? Like under any circumstances. That's another reason I didn't want to be with King of the Dot anymore. And so we got, and all that comes with the Dutch Vega Flacco Bayos of the world, the Sarakanas of the world, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these characters and these rappers and juxtaposing them with the new talent, create our whole our business strategy is creating additional revenue streams and mechanical royalty and residual income to feed rappers for generations. Our company motto is, and what we're doing is beyond our business strategy, but what we're doing on a visceral level is bringing back stylistic diversity and originality and that old grind time essence for 2022. So that's what our mission statement is.
Fantastic.
Like,
Who doesn't
wow.
want to be a part of something like that?
That just
Come
sounds
on,
like the best sales pitch ever to like sign up on some shit. Because like you
because
said,
it's
nobody
all
gonna
of us,
replicate that,
everyone.
and it like is coming from a bunch of frustrated people that want to equalize the system. But also, ain't nobody replicating that shit anytime soon to
Well,
the
here's the thing
degree.
that made grind time so dope.
Damn.
Everybody is a part of grind time, whether it doesn't matter
Mhm.
where you from, doesn't matter if you're a rapper, a producer, an event curator, director, editor, fan, whatever. You have a voice and you are a part of this community and you contribute to it. You're like a part of the puzzle piece that, a piece in the puzzle that creates this giant mosaic of culture. And we're bringing all that together once again. Like we were the template that wound up like the garden got all the fruit got taken from the trees and now we replanted it and it's grown again, and there's enough for everybody. The thing that I wasn't expecting, I thought that we were going to get more resistance. I didn't realize that we would be like back at a race for the top of the culture within right after our first event, and now we're bringing on beat battles back. We have the Def Coast Academy, which is our farm system across the world where we're cultivating new talent. The Space Invaders series, where we're taking the best online battlers and bringing them to real life. So we have all these different outlets and creative ventures, and they're all coming together. Shouts to the EFM movement, shouts to Canova Capone, everybody we're working with in different capacities, and it's coming together. And man, wasn't expecting. I'm overwhelmed on a daily basis. I don't get even I don't get to accomplish 30% of what I set out to do on a daily, but it's not for lack of trying.
Word. Facts.
Even
I can
even that's
testify.
encouraging, because you're wildly every day. It's never what I want to do, but man, you just be moving everything forward, and I guess because you have your little economy under you and the trust and the leadership to like hold that together, it's working. That's fire.
It's scary. It's scary, but at the end of the day, I just have to trust God that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and whatever unfolds is the course of the inevitable. This is what's going to happen, and all I can do is just be the best version of myself throughout the process and manifest greatness.
Sounds like you're doing a great job.
Yeah, big
I
facts.
appreciate you. Y'all are, man, I'm constantly inspired by people like y'all, like Flacco, your individuality. That's the grind time spirit in a nutshell. Like what you bring to the table. Like you are yourself through and through. Nobody can ever push you off your square. Like you are so confident in who you are, and you
He's a big fat.
have so much love, and like you uplift others in the process. Like people might get you twisted because they don't understand, but really you're just going to be off-putting to people that are insecure at the end of the day. But people that know who they are inside, they're going to be drawn to you and be like, this dude is a fucking cult leader. Like he's a fucking god body. Like and
Facts.
my man Stefan Holden Waugh, but fuck Patrick Waugh, even though he's great as fuck. I love Patrick Waugh, but he destroyed my LA Kings back in the day. Like, bro, like just your genuine nature, your desire to continue to learn, your humor, your just like your whole approach to everything, your French Canadian goatee, long hair.
Facts.
You're just you yourself are an individual as well. You are the grind time spirit as well, and that's why I think
No, he
it's always,
definitely is.
it's a treat when real players meet. And I know that, like, I feel so comfortable bearing so much of my soul talking to y'all because y'all get it. It's not even about
Big
getting me;
facts.
y'all get it. So that's why
Big facts.
your platform is so great, and I'll always show up and show out on this. And if it wasn't for me being so busy, I wouldn't even been 15 minutes late. But I
Nah,
also
you wasn't even 15
saved
minutes
three
late.
baby birds today. Put on fucking gloves so I wouldn't get my human scent on them. Like all kinds of shit. Like
Saving baby birds. Yo,
Regular
FYI though,
superhero.
my don't tell my wife that. You know what I'm saying? She'd be super upset at you, like, nah, I hate birds. You should have let them be. She'd have been
Nah,
like, yo,
my
let
girlfriend
leave.
loves the birds.
let
I
them
know.
die.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I fuck with
Bonbon on the flip side would have been like, nah,
loves
save
the
the
birds.
birds.
You just
What?
got like
You're
extra
now a
cool
hero.
points.
Yeah, exactly. Super
Facts.
like, yeah, super hard eyes and
I
shit.
know
She's
way
like,
more about birds than I ever thought I would know, my mans.
no, I love birds. Obviously, the rooster is close to my heart. And I fuck with
facts.
nothing's more hood than a pigeon. You gotta respect the pigeons, and
Gotta respect the pigeon. Yeah, I saw New York pigeons though. Montreal pigeons got some shit to learn.
Yeah,
no, New York
New York.
pigeons, bro. Like
New York is just different in general, man. It's
they'll
just
survive a
different.
nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah, they will.
Bro, they're
Yeah, they
bold.
will.
Walking into stores, they give no fuck. They're like fucking geese.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Well, geese. I feel like
Geese are
you
scary.
know, geese are like gangbangers. They're like holding down their turf really hard. Like with pigeons, it's like pure survival.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. They're different.
I'm
New
with
York
you,
is
bro.
just different, man. Even the cats are different. You know what I'm saying? Like the bodega cats and the street cats, they're just different. It's just all different here. Even the dogs. People like talk about like, yo, dogs aren't meant to be in cramped spaces, but it's like, yo, it's New York City, and like,
Bro, I went to
like
we were in the
it is what it
Bronx,
is.
and there's the cat that's next to his fucking place at the bodega, and the cat just comes over and falls asleep on my shoes. Like it just decides it's camp. I'm like, I never seen this shit one time before from a cat.
No, the bodega cats are like they're lifesavers, bro. They keep the economy afloat out there, and like L.A. In LA, it's all about the fucking dogs, the loose pit bulls and the chihuahuas. Like I seen two dogs hop over a fence in East LA, attack a live chicken, grab the chicken, kill the chicken, and hop back over the fence and run off with it. Like,
Holy shit!
Yeah,
yeah,
East LA shit.
All of
Let me
that
tell
is
you
wild.
something. I gotta in my building. There's a fucking either Dominican or Puerto Rican lady because Jesus Christ, man, every day. And then random times of the day too. Like people don't understand roosters. Like if you never like been around roosters, like you don't understand that like it's not just in the morning that they like crow like that. Like they just randomly crow throughout the day, bro. Wild annoying. But I'm just like, yo, why are you crowing at 4 PM, fam? Like the sun been up. Like, are you celebrating the noon? Like, what's oh man.
They
the
sing
guy,
in the
the
But
song of
yeah,
their
galleros,
people.
they're doing their gallero. You feel me? They're letting him know what time
yeah,
it
yo.
is.
Yeah, facts. They
The
calling out.
birds are wildly like that. When the I don't know crows show up and fucking blue jays are the loudest motherfuckers ever. But yeah, bird life. I'm glad that you saved those birds in the middle of your
Word.
busy
So
day.
in the middle of all this GTX thing, you also started a podcast. And
Yeah.
I,
It's crazy because um I I've been doing a podcast for a long time, like me and my brother Smokey, and we've like putting people up on game with like different regions of hip hop and the regional flavors and
I was gonna
what's
say the
like
flavor
cutting edge
junkie, right?
flavor
Like
junkie. Yeah.
yeah.
So we had been doing that like on some like hood tastemaker shit, but
Mhm.
I'd always like thought it would be dope to be on No Jumper, and people have been. I've had there's probably like a good 500, 600 tweets, like 5,151 tweets, like people saying like you should be on No Jumper and tweeting at him and all that. And some point last year, somebody brought me over there and we chopped it up and we're talking about doing a show. And then Diz wound up solidifying it. Like again, Disaster's Vision, he was super adamant. Like we need this podcast on No Jumper and we need them as our media partners. And that's like the final part of it now at this point. Like it's beyond No Jumper, and like even if we have a few more podcasts slotted and it could go on for a long time. I don't know, it might go on for years as far as I know, but regardless, I appreciate them even like rocking with us at all because it turned out to be a real cool look. And I learned a lot from the experience. I think we're going to take the podcast to much greater heights. This is like literally just we're still getting our feet wet with it, but it's been dope. And you've got to interview some incredible people, and we're going to continue to push the line and inject like authentic grassroots hip hop culture to a platform that doesn't really have too much of that otherwise.
hmm.
Word.
What's your favorite interview so far?
Um, that's a good question. I like them all for different reasons. The Razkaz one was wild because he started talking hella shit and like had a couple clips that go viral, and he told this whole story of how the "We Gon' Make It" beat by Alchemist, the
Mm-hmm,
Jadakiss
mm-hmm.
3000 song was originally for him, and then it got like sold to Jadakiss, and then they wound up going back and forth, and he told the whole story really candidly, like in great detail, like, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I knew, but I didn't know, you know what I mean, that it was gonna like get to that point. And then he wound up talking about his beef with the game and like in great. I was like, whoa, this is like quality. And then, like him and I like rapped his chorus to Marinate together. I was like, that's fire. If you was around in
That might be.
'96,
I think that might be the only episode I haven't watched yet.
watch
I've
that one.
I've
It's
I've,
actually really
I've
dope.
watched every. I watched every episode since the show has started with the airing, with the premiere episode with you and Diz, with Adam, and then every episode since. That's why I was like curious to see if there was like a favorite.
Check game on that one, and like Razzie is like he you know, a lot of people,
I know
regardless of like,
Razzcast.
no, regardless of where he's at now, like he was around in '96. Tell me that wasn't like the hottest rapper at that time. He was the rap. Everyone wanted to rap like Razzcast.
Yeah,
like,
nah, Razzcast was like he was one of the like dudes that was coming from the West Coast that was like, yo, this dude might be like able to compete with the New York
with
MCs,
New York
like
rappers.
New York
yeah.
MC, the New York rappers were giving him wild respect. He was, I mean, but like I also remember him from back then, like at like events and shit, and like he's just always been a wild dude. You know what I'm saying?
Wild dude.
Like wild dude. You know, wild respect though as a great MC. You know, so but like I didn't even know that I missed that episode. So I'm super definitely gonna go watch that now, like because I can only imagine. And every episode so far has been really good. So, is there another one besides that one?
I really like that one. I really like. You know, what was interesting? What episode I really liked, and it's like a dude that I didn't necessarily show. Like obviously the ones where my friends are cool with like No Can and Dumb and all that, but I really liked the episode with Hobson. And that's like a dude that like I probably made fun of online and shit. Yes. And like, but like getting a chance to right, you feel me? And like, but it's really not even him. It's more so like his
the
fans
idea
and
of
like,
him.
Yeah, the idea of him. But getting to chop it up with him and like relating on a human level and realizing that he's actually a super cool person. It makes you realize like you sometimes have to separate the man from the art, the man, the woman, the artist from the art. You know what I mean? Like, and it made me, I have a, like hella respect for him as a man, whether or not I slap his music like that, you know, and like can't deny he's a talented MC, like, but whether or not I slap his shit, like I was like, okay, and he had a lot of really insightful shit to say. I really liked the conversation we had. I know you would never expect me in a million years to say that, but you know what I mean? Like, he's a good friend of Diz too. That's why that episode happened.
Word.
It's probably the last thing you would expect me to say. You know, out of everyone that we had on there, from Tash to Exhibit to, you know what I'm saying, to Geechee and Active to, you know, like Jackie Long, like all these cool ass people. Like, but yeah, I really enjoyed the dialogue with Hobson.
Word.
Yo, it's like that.
We had an episode with the girl that hasn't come out. We had an episode with the girl from the world of battle rap who fucked Drake and was talking all about getting fucked by Drake and like this whole that was crazy. It hasn't come out, but I don't know like if it got silenced or what. But
that's wild.
Word.
When she said Drake was trying to impregnate her, all this crazy shit, like
sensational.
Wild.
Shouts to the light skinned lush one. Self-proclaimed. But yeah. That would be dope with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one of your friends sitting down, which one of your friends has been like the, I mean, I know that they're all right, like your friends, but out of all the guys that so far from the old like Fresh Coast shit, who'd you enjoy sitting with most?
Well, he's not even from the old Fresh Coast shit, but I really enjoyed chopping it up with Bill Collector. He's so entertaining.
Word.
He's so much like he's a hilarious person. Like chopping it up with Bill, he's just like, bro. He reminds me of myself quite a bit, like energetically and just person. Like we gel really well. Like he's, you know.
Bill's good people, man.
He's
Bill's really good people. Yo, Bill, Bill was fucking with us before he got to Smack. Like he had lined up to do some shit with us, with me at the draft, and then he got the call from Smack, which is like totally like understandable to be like, yo, I'm not gonna do the thing with you, you know. But they still came through, and it got spicy and like he really wanted to battle, but like their homies were like, "Yo, bro, like you're about to do this URL thing, like you know what I'm saying? Stay focused." But like Bill is always with the shits, like he was saying on the show with you. You know what I mean? Like he's always been with the shits. Like he's like really like he loves this shit. You know, you could tell. You know, and he always gonna think that like
that's
take
that
somebody's
Philly
head
energy.
off. Yeah, that Philly energy is.
Fools from
I
Philly.
mean, he's not from Philly, right? But it's that general Philly energy, though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why.
First of all, like that's like you know, like Norristown. It's still southeastern Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally. I live 5 minutes from Norristown. I'm basically, I'm in Norristown right now. Like Norristown is like essentially Mount Vernon to New York City. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna call it Yonkers, but yeah,
Yonkers.
Where it's
Yonkers.
It's the
same
absolutely.
Shit. Like
yeah.
It's like it's in fact like Yonkers is more NYC than other parts of NYC, even like you feel me.
But
like
I also know, knowing Bill, like how much he's always like fought for that shit. Where like, yo, I'm not from Philly.
No, he's from the town.
You're not from Philly. But bro, you carry wild Philly energy with you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a thing.
And he for sure came up rapping in the trenches in Philly too, and he put it down with all them dudes. Like very much so, to the point where like look, you being from the Bronx, what do you respect more, Staten Island or Yonkers?
I mean, you already know what time it is. Like I probably fuck with Yonkers more than I'd fuck with Staten Island, because it's just like, yo, bro.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You feel me? Like it's like
and
the same shit.
And Yonkers would fuck, right? Like in turn, like Yonkers, like trying to like have that New York City energy and being, New York City energy, even though they're not New York City technically speaking, is never not respected. Like nobody's talking about like, oh yeah, I'ma just fucking show up to like the Locks block and just be wild disrespectful because fuck Yonkers. Like nobody's doing that. Like nobody from the Bronx or Brooklyn is like, nah, because why? You still have respect for like, nah, Yonkers has their own, cemented history amongst our city's history. Same
it's
as
it's like Long Beach in LA.
Word.
Exactly. Like Long Beach, same shit. Feel me? Like
right.
I can follow this because of Google Maps. Let's be real. I've just zoomed in and out enough to know where all these places are.
You're gonna get there, B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're gonna get there.
No, I mean I kind of know what Yonkers is on the map, but I've never been to Yonkers. And
Yonkers is an experience. Shouts to all my Yonkers folks.
It's higher than when I took you to that Cucci Frito spot. So I took him to the same Cucci Frito spot that Anthony Bourdain ate at, which is like up by Fordham Road, which Fordham Road is like essentially, now we're talking about like the North Bronx, like Marble Hill's right there. And then once you're like at Marble Hill, like you're right there at Riverdale. And then Riverdale turns into Yonkers. And then, that's like essentially, so like you weren't
Westchester County.
You know what I'm saying? Westchester County, exactly. You weren't far from it. It's just very different in Yonkers than it is on Fordham Road in the Bronx.
Yeah.
It's just different, but it's the same, but different.
Yeah. No, and that's like kind of like Norristown. I'm gonna tell you, Norristown is fucking gutter. It's a wild hood. Like, but like, and I've soaked up a lot of game. Like I'm good out here in Philly. I've been all through North Philly, South Philly, Southwest. You know what I'm saying? Well, West Philly. Like I've been through all the different sections and Norristown and all that. And like, yeah, Bill definitely personifies that energy. They're down to rap. It's weird. Like there's a weird similarity in the bounce of like West Coast rappers and Philly rappers. Like they have way more they're dialed into the pocket way different.
Yeah, their pocket is different than everybody else's, which is, but it's so like that's why New York has always fucked with Philly cats, period. because it's very reminiscent. It's very it Philly is like Boston, where it's like little brother East Coast major cities, but they're not no little brother, right? Like then they don't keep no little brother energy, right? It's just they're smaller than New York City. So like we're always gonna look at it like the same way that we look at Jersey, you know, where it's just like, yo, you're smaller, there's less people and shit. But Philly, and unlike Boston, was super able to have their own sound and rappers throughout history pop wow big because they've always kept their own energy and never been on no, you know, little brother type of shit. Which is why a lot of cities that admire New York and like, you know, do hip hop end up not having their own major acts because they have eternal little brother syndrome and they're always trying to do New York instead of cultivate their own local culture. And like Philly has its own local culture all the
Big
way,
time.
and its own way of being, its own energy, which is why the rappers have always been so successful throughout time. Like throughout time, like it's not like it's new. It's not like Philly just started having that in like the recent years. Like that shit goes beyond the like the 90s into like the 80s, early 80s and shit, you know, like Philly's always had its own energy.
Well, and even if you think about it, like gangster rap really started in Philly before it was even in LA, absolutely. Like fucking Schoolie D and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's 3 times dope. Those were like the original gangster rap groups before Ice-T, before fucking NWA, you know?
Before Cool G Rap.
Before G Rap. You know what I'm saying? Like,
which like a lot of New York, like that's where like that claim comes for us. You know what I mean? Is G Rap, you know?
Yeah, well, really, like what I think, like people don't realize, like I love early Boogie Down Productions. I love the Criminal Minded album. That's a gangster rap album, you know. Like some of the songs are more conscious or more like, but like you feel me, like this might not meant to make to go back, you know what I'm saying? Like all that shit. What that all that shit. Like KRS-One came in the game with an Uzi in his hand, sitting next to Scott LaRock. That's gangster rap. You feel me? Like I miss that KRS from that era. If he stayed like that, always would be. You feel me? Like, come on.
Yeah. Big fact. Sound of the Police.
That's what I'm saying. And that's, you know, even like after
when he was fucking with Mad Lion Wild Heavy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That from there to that Mad Lion era is like that pocket that he was in that was like, yo, bro, you really on fire. You got something. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I always say, like, I don't fuck with KRS music, but I fuck with Boogie Down Productions. That's the shit that I like.
Word.
Like, that was all that in that era, like 86 to 92, 93. You feel me? Like the last song of his I'll Slap is like 97. He had a couple on that I Got Next album, but like really that like 86 to 93 KRS wave was hard. Bronx, you know, got that.
Yeah, big facts. Shouts to Curse. Word.
And like I always say, like one of the rappers that has the biggest influence on me is another Bronx rapper, Lord Finesse. You feel me? Like that's like one of my idols. One of my idols. He taught me how to
that's
do
that's a tastemaker's name. You know what I'm saying? Like he like people always have like rushed to like, you know, like I think that there was like a real Cornish clout chasey energy with Jay Dilla's passing. And like people like giving like Jay Dilla love that like I don't even think that they understood or they were there. Like it was just it became the thing to do. But like really the thing to do if you like in the know and you know some shit is drop Lord Finesse name or Diamond D's name because that's
those
when like
that's
when the tastemakers gonna be like, this motherfucker here knows some shit, huh?
Bro, if you watch like some of my early like freestyle battles, like when I battled like against like Passwords on 2-on-2 battles in 2005, you could see him wearing a silver Lord Finesse t-shirt. Like anytime I would like do a battle or I'd always have my Lord Finesse shirt. I don't even know, I don't know how the fuck I got a Lord Finesse t-shirt, but yeah, like I wish I still had that thing. But he's like, and to me, like obviously that's where Big L learned his punchline format from, but he just advanced it and made it crazier and more intricate. But that Lord Finesse shit, but he was more chill in the cut, like smooth with it.
Smooth.
And
with
the fire beats, like that. I used to like. That's what made me learn how to do punchlines. 100% is from Finesse, and I feel like that's like the originator for the template of people using similes to this day. It comes from that. Like Lord Finesse is the OG, triple OG. Don't get enough respect, but yeah,
Facts.
I want him on the motherfucking podcast.
Word.
Cool, that's a cool ass dude, right? That's an OG right there.
Yeah.
Cool motherfucker.
Tash, you having Tash on, like, I got a Tash story. Like, Tash is one of the coolest motherfuckers. Tash, a lot of those, that's why I had so much also later on. I was a fan of them first when I was young and in school, you know what I'm saying? Of the Alcoholics, of Exhibit, of Roscos. Roscos less, because I had a friend who was super, like, you know, and it's just typical New York energy, you know, like, you know, somebody close to you who's like a super fan of something, and you just be like, like, that's your thing, you know? So now I gotta find my thing that I'm like, you know, but like Exhibit, regardless, all those guys. And then later on, when I was first starting to do shit, and going to events and doing street teaming shit, but also being Sarah Connor's little fucking sidekick, and her and Jean Grey being besties and hanging out, right? Like, I would be like fucking tailing behind them and shit, like little brother and shit. And I would run into Tash at wild events, from the promo shit to that shit. And always fucking recognized me, B. And like, just always was cool, always like showed love. Fucking there, we were at the last Lyricist Lounge show at the Kit Kat club, down by like 42nd. And there were these camera dudes from Canada, right, shooting a documentary, and they were like harassing the fuck out of Gene. And so like I played fucking I don't know football. What's like the football guy's title with the tackling and shit? Like the
like a linebacker.
Linebacker, I don't know words. The linebacker, right? So like I was just like wild defense, like, nah, chill. You need to leave her alone.
You were like an offensive lineman. You're like a tackle right there.
Word.
You feel me?
Super front line, right? And but like also wild, thirsty, you know, young kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? There's a camera. Like, I'll rap for you. Like, I'll go ham. You know what I'm saying? And Tash fucking was coming from backstage as Gene and Sarah were going towards backstage, right? Like, he's coming back towards where I'm at, and he sees me and daps me up, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to rap for these motherfuckers. He's like, cool, rap for them motherfuckers. And he throws his fucking arm around me and is just like co-signing me before, right? Like essentially, right? Like shit that's how we ended up viewing it, like that, right? Like, or where that like ended up becoming the thing in the clout chase era, right? But like saying something like that. He obviously was super not co-signing me. Like, like the punchline is
no,
like,
but that's what it felt like.
Yeah, he's there with his arm around me and like bopping, like as I'm rapping, and like like I finish and the cameraman like leaves, and like I'm like, yo, what the fuck did you think, Tash? And he's like, yo, you got to work on your flow, my guy. Like, that shit was chop as fuck. Like, not the way, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had bars, but like what you were saying was it. But like, you got to work on that flow. And I was just like, word, man. Like,
well, that's coming from the dude who was one of the
keeping it from coldest flows, but like
history.
You know, keeping it a thou wow, being so cool, did not need to do that, did not need to stand there with me. You know what I'm saying? Tash, wow, cool motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like Lord Finesse, also another cool motherfucker. You should definitely have him on you guys' show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
Interviewing guys like that is like super valuable to like.
I respect fools that are like OGs when they're 24. Like he had, you know what I'm saying? Had that aura, like like he's just like,
Mhm.
bro,
Mm.
you a real funk soul, bro. You feel me? Like,
Mhm.
in fact, he is the dude that said, "Check it out now." Is the funk soul brother on that
Mhm.
fucking?
Mhm.
That's a Floor Finesse sample. He probably
Say
got rich off
Yep.
that.
word.
Yep. Yep.
People don't know
That's
that.
amazing. I did
Yep,
not know that, but now that I do, my life is enhanced. No, that's not.
that
That's
accretes
what's
to your
wild.
brain.
Facts. Yo, I had
Yo,
another question.
you should definitely have him on just like the ask the questions of like
Yeah.
how, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if that was like the same thing as this dude's situation, Trinidad James with Bruno Mars and shit, which
Yeah, yeah,
I'm pretty sure that there's like a really good story there that like they probably did like look out and take care and pay out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like I never heard bad about them.
That, yeah, it's Daft Punk. Like their whole shit was like they were
Wasn't it
sampling
Fatboy
while
Slim?
you know what I'm saying? So like,
Fat
yeah,
Boy Slim
Yeah.
cashed him out for sure. Sampled that, but what was you about to say though, Holden?
work.
Yo, cause so we were on your YouTube channel, right? And I clicked on this live video on some random shit. And then somebody on stage while y'all was at some rave shit, jumping around, sweating and rapping and shit. Somebody was like, "Yo, what's up, Montreal?" I'm like, "Say word. What's the odds of me picking the video that's in Montreal at some rave shit?"
Word.
Yo, what was happening there? This is in 2013. Is all I can tell you
Yeah,
from
we
the date on
performed
the
at
video.
Montreal Jazz Fest.
I'll say word. And it was like
Yeah,
a rave, like it sounded like some rave set with y'all freestyling or something. Like, I'm not
yeah.
sure what was
So,
happening
so,
there.
so, so the label that I was signed to is a French label called Chinese Man Records and shit, and they're huge. Like they're like fucking Skrillex in France or some shit. You know what I mean? And like
Right.
they would do, they're like a trip hop though, like dub, electro swing, more like that type of wave.
That's this. This.
And they would they had like their like show is like their albums, their show, everything is like a rotating cast of characters, like slash carnival freak show of, they got one live beat maker, two live DJs. Um, they all they'll have like a trombone player. You feel me? They'll have like a reggae singer, and then like rappers. And we were like the rappers that fucked with them. And I always like was like, damn. I remember listening to. I was like really big on trip hop music coming up and drum and bass, jungle, and all that house music. And I remember like I would hear listening to like a LTJ Bookham record or like a Groove Rider record or a Massive Attack or something like that, and I would hear like a random rapper on there just body shit you don't even know his name. And when I was a kid, I would be like, oh, that'd be so cool to be like that. Like I don't necessarily want to be like famous like Snoop Dogg, but I want to be like that dude that's on some random fucking like Ninja Tune Records 12-inch in fucking England and that spits like a hot 16. And that's like Loki. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy the way I manifested that because my boy Plex and I wound up doing that shit with them. They brought us out. We did huge tours. It's the platinum record I got is with them. And they wound up going to Montreal. Obviously, there's a huge French population. Um, funny
Also a
story,
huge
like
rave scene.
huge rave scene. And yeah, we wound up doing like a headline show. And it was so crazy because we co-headlined with so funny how this happened. So we had me and Plex. I don't know if you ever heard our record. We have a song called Molly Ringwald, and
Yeah.
we're talking about Molly. Not only do we both, we're like the song's about like taking MDMA, but we love 80s movies and our favorite actress. Now, like, I'll sound like a fucking pedophile if I say it because she's fucking 16 years old, but like, we loved Molly Ringwald. Like, I grew up, I was like, you know what? This
Mm-hmm.
goofy looking redhead bitch is kind of hot
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. You feel me? Like, I just like outside the box, weird looking girls are beautiful to me. So I was like Molly and Plex felt the same way. We both love Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, and all that. So our
Facts.
whole, we're like, okay, she's the wave, 16 Candles, and we always would reference that. And so we made the song as like an homage to her and Molly. So we find out we're looking at the different artists playing at Montreal Jazz Fest. I'm like, Holden, that's Montreal Jazz Fest. That's like y'all big festival every year. Like
It's huge. It's like
that's
if
like
you play
Coachella.
Jazz Fest, like yeah,
It's like
yeah, for real.
Coachella for Montreal. Yeah, like it's the biggest
It's
thing
like
they.
the streets are packed. It's like 2 weeks. Like you can't. If you don't even book a show during those 2 weeks, there's almost no point.
So, and we're
Or-
booked like, and then we're like, oh shit, Molly Ringwald's there, ha ha ha. And then we're like, oh shit, like she's like playing at like the same day we're playing. Like, oh shit, she's playing at the same venue we're playing. Oh shit, this bitch is fucking headlining the same. Oh shit, we're co-headlining the same show. We pull up at the venue. I'm smacked, but I'm not even on Molly. I'm on Molly's cousin Mandy. That's an MDMA, but it's like the same shit. But I'm rolling my fucking face off, right? We pop
Right.
up, and we're sharing a fucking dressing room with Molly Ringwald. Like
What?
you can't, yeah.
Get the fuck
We're
out of here.
sharing a fucking dressing room. I'm all tripped
Yo.
out. Da, 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 da. I'm like, and then I start fucking fangirling out like a fucking fainting child at a fainting teenager at a Michael Jackson show. That sounds weird. I don't want to shouts to Mike, but like I'm like a little girl, and I get so excited. Like my palms start sweating thinking about it, like flashbacks. And like I have this bitch with me, right? And the bitch is starting to get jealous. Like the bitch is getting jealous because I'm like tripping on Molly Ringwald. I'm like,
this still going out to the world.
I'm like with this beautiful like black queen, right? And she's like, and she's like, well, why are you fucking tripping on this fucking old white bitch? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? And I'm like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. And of course, like the Molly's making me like peek out even more. And I was like, and they're like, then our bandmates, they're all French and shit. Like they know how to talk English though, but we don't know how to talk French. But they speak. We could speak a little French with them and shit after a while. And then they're like, you can go take a picture again. I was like, no, like no, you have to go say what's up. And then like so, me and fucking Flex go up, and I like their imitation of it was so funny because I was like, excuse me, hi, Molly, hi, my name is Lush, and this is my friend Flex, and we're a group called the Rolling Rockers, and we have a song about you, and da 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 da. Can we take a picture with you? She's like, oh yeah, da da da. And then you know what this bitch said? She's like, wait, are you guys Danny Brown? And I was like, what? Because Danny Brown had a song way after us called Molly Ringwald.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, she's like, are you guys Danny Brown? We're like, no, like we made like the better song about you. Like significantly less successful. And then like we have this awesome picture with her, and we're like, and she for sure was like rubbing on my back like she was trying to do something, but you feel it was fire though. Shouts to Molly. Montreal Jazz Fest was incredible. That was some of the most fun I ever had.
There's some cool stories already about her out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's awesome. She's rad as fuck, and she's a dope artist. Does like I didn't even know she was like it's like a jazz singer. She's ill. So like we did a fire show with her. Yeah, we got a lot of love. Montreal was lit, and we wound up. It was crazy because our tour manager, he's like, there's different like, like there's like. Think about like a hick, like a white trash hick from the Midwest who's super uneducated. Like our tour manager is the French version of that. And what like if you're like super French, like people from like there's a difference between people from like Marseille, Paris, and Toulouse. Like you're like Parisian. You know what I'm saying? You're not like French from like Provence, you feel me, from like the country of France. Those like this dude barely spoke English. And you could tell how educated and cultured people are in France by like how much English they speak and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like this dude was like French as fuck, like eating like would eat like crucial French meals, like you feel me, like been smoking cigarettes since he was fucking 2 and drinking wine, just so French, right? Like
right.
This dude, right? William, I love William, he's my dog, but like, and he was so French. He was like, yo, like French Canadians are kind of crazy. Like they
Facts.
And they're French people don't fuck with, like, they'd rather you not speak French at all than try to speak French and mispronounce shit. Like they take their pronunciation. They're such fucking fascists about that shit, right?
Facts.
But right. So we're over, and French Canadians have such a like, just to put it in
such
perspective,
a bad accent.
To put it in perspective for Flacco,
I I already know because we've covered this like in depth. Like I think the latest discovery that I came to realize when I was telling Holden about it is that like it's like this for all of the countries that were colonized by England, France, Spain, right? Because the
Yeah, but like,
Spanish, the
but no,
Spanish don't like
it's
the way that
worse.
all of us speak
Nah,
Spanish.
no,
Like
for
the
Right.
real. I
Spaniards,
did. Okay, so
they're
like
like
I did customer
yo, this isn't.
support one
We don't
time,
speak
man.
the same thing. Like they're like
Nah, but
they
Chad,
Nah,
have
but
the
B,
think,
way.
but think about
like
this.
France people, like especially from the Paris region, because like I did customer support, and my accent was really fucking bad back then. It's not good now, but it was really bad. Man, these people can understand what the fuck you're saying and will pretend you're not speaking French.
Okay. So this is what I'm getting to. Like I'm about to like drop the punchline, but before then, like you're right. That's a good observation, Flacco. But like even like the way Americans speak English compared to British people, like they think
Mhm.
we sound terrible. You know what I
Crazy.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and even like when French people or a lot of other people in other parts of the world speak English, they're speaking British English, not Americanized English. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to be like, but like think about like how much better Haitian people sound speaking French or Africans speaking French. Like they don't sound fucked
Right.
up like Canadians speaking French. That's like a whole.
Facts.
It's like a
Word.
whole other. It's a
It's a
very
whole nother.
particular thing to the point where think about how Canadians, not all of them, but let's talk about the eastern shore of Canada. Let's talk about people from Newfoundland. Let's talk about people from Nova Scotia, from New Brunswick. Like that, those Canadians, the way their accent sounds to us, you know what I mean? Which is like
Wild.
the most
It's
extreme fucking accent, right? That's
Right.
how the French people perceive French Canadians. You know what I mean? Like I hear people from Newfoundland talk, I can barely understand a word they fucking say. Like,
right.
so my tour manager, this like elitist nationalist French dude, we're like at the loading dock unloading all the gear with at the venue. French Canadian dude's like speaking French to him, saying all this shit. Remember, William don't speak English. The dude's like says all this shit to him in French, like with his French Canadian accent. And William gets all quiet, looks at him, and he goes, "What?"
Fucking
Not even qua. He didn't even hit him with the qua. He's all what? Like no, don't fucking talk French to me no more. Talk English, oh boy. Like
Yo, it's really
so,
like that though. French people from France be wildly not nice to Quebecers. They're here though, because they're here all the time on some foreign exchange shit or whatever shit. But they don't like us.
wait, what'd they call you? What'd you call yourselves?
Quebecers?
Oh,
Quebecois?
Quebecers, yeah, like Quebecois, yeah. No, they're just elitist people, regardless. And I love French people, but like they're just super. You know what I mean?
Super.
Like I
Super.
get it. They have an amazing, but imperialism and colonialism aside, like the art that they've created and the things that they've done. Like I get why they they live an incredible lifestyle. But at the same time, fuck you, bro. Right? Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
It's
we
yeah.
didn't give a
They
definitely
fuck.
gotta chill out. They gotta
Yeah, we didn't
definitely
give a
chill out.
fuck.
That's definitely something that I've always understood. Like their reputation precedes them. Like
Like
the
Italians are hella
French.
nice. Spanish people are nice, even though Spanish people are weird too in other ways. But like all these
Yeah,
other countries,
I think all of
Germans.
them. I think all of them are all people are a little. I remember one time I was working in a call center, not in the call center. I was working at Tavern on the Green, taking reservations by phone, and an Italian lady called in, and she was like, "Yo," like she was saying that she needed like a translator to like take her reservation. I was like, I mean, I speak Spanish. I understand what you're saying. Like
Yeah,
we're communicating right now. I understand everything you're saying to me, lady. You know what I mean? Just give me the reservation. I got you. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good. She was very adamant that like Spanish is not the same thing as Italian, and like that I don't understand what she's saying. I'm like, but I'm understanding what you're saying. Like,
yeah, exact. Fuck
But
that
she's
bitch.
probably like an old school lady. You know what I'm saying? Like old school people end up sometimes people get more and more fickle the older that they get.
Yeah, they're set in their
And
ways.
they get more set in their ways, and they get more hard ass about shit. That's like, yo, chill the fuck out, man. It's not that serious, you know. Like, you should be happy that I'm here and I'm making an effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, the glass isn't half full or half empty. You should be, you know, appreciative of the fact that I even thought about pouring a glass.
No,
and
when
leaving
I'm
yourself,
in
you know what I mean?
when I'm in Europe, that's like how I speak. Like when I'd be like trying to talk to people that were Italian or French or some shit. Like I was like, "Oh, you don't speak English? Do you speak Spanish?" Like I'll be talking to hella people in Spanish. Like because I speak like I'm not fluent, but I can speak a little Spanish. Like and I'm fluent understanding of Spanish. Like
Word.
Yeah.
Now I already
yo
know.
entiendo, pero no hablo. Yo entiendo, pero no hablo. You feel me? Like
I already know.
yo
And where you
entiendo
live,
perfecto.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In
I
LA.
feel that.
I speak Mexican more than Spanish. Like shit. Angelino
Facts.
Mexican. Like that's what I speak.
Angelino Mexican is totally different than that's like New Yorican. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying? Like it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
different subset of all the shit.
Not for real. I
Wow,
get it.
wow.
Yo,
I mean-
Lush, thank you so much for sitting with us, B. Like,
Yeah.
This is fire.
Yeah.
you're so gracious every time. You know what I'm saying? Great conversation.
No, I
Every
love y'all.
motherfucking time.
I
For
feel
real.
like you enhance
Any
the people
any
you're
final
with.
questions or anything? What up?
Was there anybody who asked anything? Yo, anybody
Honestly,
in the
we got
audience?
like
Because
nothing in the
like,
comments. So
we
anybody
everybody's
has a
just been
question,
kind of
it'll be a good
agreeing
time.
with you. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah,
talking
that's kind of it. Even
about
just saying
like
super
everything that you're
insightful
saying.
shit. Everybody's like, I am learning and agreeing with Lush One because the wisdom he's spitting is pretty profound. Is the general vibe I got.
It
I fuck with all y'all. Much love.
Willie was when you were talking about Roscos, he was bringing up Golden State Warriors. Bonnie quoting West Philadelphia, born and raised. Willie said he battled Tash outside Faust or
Foofs. It's
Foofs.
Foofs. No, it's Foofs. It's Fafun Electronic. It's a sick ass venue actually. But that it goes. So
a lot of
yeah.
love in the comments, just like
Not really.
people fucking
This was
appreciating
super
the interview.
memorable. I feel like again, like you drop almost some like masterclass TED
Yo,
Talk
you
shit on us.
super game, super you.
Big time.
This is I'm excited, and I asked that because like I was curious. You know what I mean? Like I for however much removed I might be from it, I forever am a battle rapper. I battled in the recorded era, in grind time, and you know what I mean. Like I'm a part of the alumni, as we all are. You know what I mean? And I've always genuinely felt this way. Like what I was saying to you is like from the bottom of my heart, where it's just like, yo, I've always felt like there's just like a taking advantage of that shouldn't have been happening. You know what I mean? And guys should have been able.
Thank you.
Guys should have been able to monetize their own footage after a certain amount of time and be able to profit off of footage of them performing. You know what I mean? Like after a certain time, it's like, yo, you made your money, bro. Like you made your YouTube money, you made your whatever, you know, your door money, all that bread. You know what I'm saying? After a while, like, yo, give back, bro. You know what I'm saying? To the performers that like put on the super show and shit. And
But
so
again,
like this is like steps that you're taking that's just like a long time should have been. I don't know if it's a long time in the making with y'all, right? Like it sounds like y'all like just did what like I always appreciate, which is like just do. Like talking about it is good, but doing is much fucking better. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds like y'all did a whole bunch of doing in a fucking small period of time, because
but
we
it's
just
also the
spoke to you a year ago.
It's also the kind of shit where it's like, yo, this has ripple effects. It's not gonna stop with battle rap performances. This is gonna take like any kind of a cappella or even just recordings, like any content creators of all varieties who get sampled. Like, yo, imagine the impact on the YouTuber hit piece community once they get a hold of this technology.
That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's
So
there.
like
It's
to me,
there.
it's like, bro, you just popped a Rosetta Stone type shit on the people once they can understand it, and it's like, yo, that's some wild fucking innovation that, again, like
And
I
with
feel
that
like I
being said,
elevated greatly.
Can't stop, won't stop. New music coming for that ass
Woo!
ASAPular. So
That's
I
gonna
ain't
be
gonna leave y'all hanging
exciting.
for too long. But
Yeah,
regardless,
y'all.
Super. I already know what time it is.
come
We're
on.
kindred souls in that respect. Like I'm gonna die doing this thing. You know what I mean? Like I can't I'm gonna die if I don't do this thing. You know what I'm
Yup,
saying? Like
that part.
so yeah. Like
And I'm gonna end this with a free Rodney, free Norm Niz, free Lil C, free AJ, and free Thugger, man, free Jeff. Come on, bro.
word,
So yeah,
word.
Y'all
make
be
sure
smooth
y'all
though. Much love.
make sure
5700 block, Clemson Street.
make sure y'all follow Lush One CA on all platforms. Shout out end of the week for holding it
Drop the
down with
links in the
us.
chat.
Absolutely. We got your links there. I did set that up. So, but just for the audio people, Lush One CA on Instagram, you can find the rest from there usually. And on that note, just make sure to follow end of the week, eodub.com. You can find the platforms to them. Big thanks to them for letting us be on this platform and
Love you,
collaborating and creating this. And yeah, appreciate everyone out there. And thank you again, Lush One, for coming through. Live long and prosper, everybody.
Come on, gang. Be smooth.
Gang, gang.
Boom.
Fantastico.
That was dope.
I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.